Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Due to COVID-19, Committee of Adjustment public hearings are being conducted virtually by electronic means through WebEx webinar, an online digital platform, and streamed on the Toronto City Planning YouTube channel. Participants who have registered in advance will be able to make their presentations to the committee using WebEx webinar, which is moderated by city staff. Anyone wishing to view the hearing may do so by watching on YouTube. My name is Isaac Laluz and I'll be chairing the hearing. Panel members with me today are Ms. Satarodi, Ms. Manning, Mr. Hunt, and Mr. Kidd. The city staff moderating the platform are Simon Lam, who's the Deputy Secretary Treasurer, Alex Chu, and Sam Mozayani. Participants who have registered in advance will be connecting with their computer, tablet, or telephone and have the option of participating via video or audio only. All participants will automatically be muted upon entry. When your item is called, each participant will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you also mute your devices until you call on to speak. Those participants by video appearance will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being held. During this time, your camera will be enabled and you will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted time. At all other times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Members of the public and participants are not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist controls during the video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelists should you fail to respect instructions. For land acknowledgement, we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. The Committee of Adjustment considers applications for variances from the provision of the zoning bylaw, permission to extend or alter legal non-conforming uses, and consent to sever property to create new lots. Anyone in attendance today who wants to receive a copy of the decision on the committee on an application must submit a written request for a decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the TLAB will be sending notifications and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decisions of the committee, decisions may be appealed to the Toronto local appeal body known as TLAB or in some limited circumstances to the Ontario Land Appeal Tribunal, which is OLT. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. The hearing procedure will be as follows. I will call each item in the order listed on the agenda. Where an application is uncontested, the agent or applicant may proceed with their presentation if desired. When the committee does not require presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter directly for a decision. Each speaker, including the applicant agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when the 5-minute mark is reached. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address, and please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first and will make their presentation to the committee. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposals at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to receive a notice are informed of the changes. Then individuals either in support or in opposition to the application, will be invited to speak. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker at the end of the presentation. When all speakers are finished, the applicant or agents has a chance to address only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion, and the application will then be taken to committee for a decision. Now, before we move on, we have a couple old minutes to approve. And for those minutes, because they're old, there was only 2 people attending on those meetings, which are Ms. Satarodi and myself. So we have one July 8th, 21. Ms. Satarodi, can I have a motion on this item?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve the July 8th, 2021 agenda.
Thank you. I second that one, and therefore it's approved with only 2. So the next one is August 5th, 21. Again, can I have a motion on that one?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion to approve the agenda of August 5th, 2021.
Thank you. And I'll second that one, and staff, those 2 minutes are approved now. So for this morning's session only, members and staff, any conflicts of interest to declare? No? Okay. Now, we don't have any deferral requests for this morning, and we're going to proceed with the applications. And application number 1, we have here, first application is 3080 Bayview Avenue. This is a consent to create new lots for a school and daycare. We have an engineering report that has no objection, just recommendations. Transportation reports otherwise, same way, just no objection, just recommendations. Staff report has only standard conditions for the severance. There is 3 minor variances. So here we have the one who wants to speak on the first, I believe, is Charlie Smith. Are you there? Mr. Smith, are you there?
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Okay, please state your name and address for the record here.
My name is Charlie Smith, planner with Bowsfields Inc. Address is 3 Church Street, Suite 200 in Toronto, Ontario.
Thank you. Please go ahead and make your presentation as to the application you're asking for.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair and committee members. As I said, my name is Charlie Smith. I am a registered professional planner with Bowsfields Inc. located at 3 Church Street in Toronto. Bowsfields Inc. are the planning consultants to Beth Tikva Synagogue with respect to the subject property municipally known as 3072 to 3080 Bayview Avenue, 7 LAWNVIEW Drive, and 182 McKee Avenue. The consent and minor variance applications before you today pertain specifically to the residential property known as 7 LAWNVIEW Drive. I'm also joined today by registered speakers Doug Millstone, president of Beth Tikva Synagogue, who provided a letter to the committee on November 17th, 2022, as well as Tony Volpentesta, a partner at Bowsfields. To provide some minor background for the committee, the consent and minor variance applications before you today are a result of an associated zoning bylaw application, which was approved through bylaw 823-2021. This bylaw permitted continued uses of an existing private school and day nursery and the synagogue on the site today. During the zoning approval process, it was determined by the synagogue that 7 LAWNVIEW Drive was not required for the long-term operation of the property. It was proposed to be severed and eventually sold. The sale of this lot would provide much-needed financial support to continue operation of services on the site. Discussions during the zoning process with city staff determined the layout, size, and dimensions of the lot, which were subsequently agreed to by both parties. For context, whoever's controlling the screen, you can go to Appendix 3 at the end of the report. It will show the zoning schedule and the outlines of the properties. So this is the former bylaw, and we'll go to diagram number 1. So here is the lands that were subject to the zoning, and in the top left corner you can see that there's a piece missing on the cul-de-sac there in the top left. That fronts onto LAWNVIEW Drive. That is the property that is proposed to be severed. So as a result of that zoning approval process, there are 3 variances that are required for 7 LAWNVIEW Drive, providing relief from minimum side yard setbacks, total lot area, and the location of a parking space in a front yard. The proposed variances would permit the existing dwelling to continue to function as a residential lot. A new structure is not proposed on the site at this time. However, demolition of an existing carport on the south side of the property will be required prior to approval of the consent. So if we go to the site plan on scrolling up, please, or the draft R plan, this is the lot, and you can see that there, so there's the existing lot, and this is just for your context. So continuing on, we are aware and have received comments from transportation staff, engineering and construction services, and city planning. The applicant accepts and agrees to all proposed conditions set out by city staff. I'm mindful of the committee's time today, but I'm happy to walk through the site plan further and requested variances or address any questions that the committee may have. Just before we proceed, actually, if you could go to the site plan in this document, this will show the carport that, yes, that one right there. So if we zoom into there, at the south extent of the property, you'll see there is a carport that protrudes on the south extent into the adjacent property. It has been noted as a condition of approval for that carport to be demolished, which is outlined in the conditions by city staff, and the applicant is content to do so to get approval of the consent. So I'll open the floor to any comments or questions from the committee.
Thank you. I don't have any other person listed here beside the agent. Members, any question for this speaker? I think it's straightforward. If there is no question, Mr. Hunt, did you have a question? I saw your hand. No. Okay, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Satarudi?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. I think, as you mentioned, it's very straightforward. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application of the severance and with the minor variance altogether, subjected to the transportation and then the transportation services condition, and also engineering department's condition and all other standards. And no, that's the motion. There's no forestry.
That's it, yeah. All I had here, engineering, transportation, and standard conditions. Can I have a second, please? Mr. Hunt is seconding. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Sir, your application is approved unanimously. So you must have made a good presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Okay.
Chair and committee members. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, you too. Okay, application number 2, which is 318 DREWRY Avenue, 318 DREWRY. And here we have the Mr. Rubinoff. Mr. Glenn Rubinoff is the agent. Are you there, Mr. Rubinoff?
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Okay, so please state your name and address so it can be recorded on the system.
Yes, it's Glenn Rubinoff, Rubinoff Design Group, 18 Gloucester Lane, Toronto.
Okay, so this is a consent to sever to 2 lots. Engineering report has only recommendations. We have only 1 letter of objections, 6 letters of support. Staff report has only standard conditions for severance, and we have a number of variances in part 1 and part 2. So please go ahead and make your presentation, and because we have 2 more speakers here, So make your presentation before we call the other ones. We give you your 5 minutes. Please start.
Thank you very much. Yes, this is an application to sever the property at 318 Drury Avenue at the corner of Drury and Cactus. If you look at the site plan, you'll see that there's we've oriented them to be facing onto Drury Avenue, which is consistent with the pattern on the street. Staff report summarized their study of the lot areas and lot configurations in the area, and are of the opinion that the proposed frontages are minor and would not alter the existing lot pattern. So staff was okay with our proposed elements here. The other thing I want to point out is you see all the circles here for all the trees. Those are all the trees on site. There's one city tree that we're requesting removal of, and that's on the right-hand side for part 2, just by the driveway, and a private tree on part 1, just by the house. But all the other trees in the area have been preserved. We did an extensive lot study or arborist report and review prior to our submission to ensure that we could actually do something that worked within the context of preserving trees. And all the trees along Cactus have been preserved. If you could go to the basement plan, the architectural plan, I could just kind of illustrate for you. Yeah, I think it's the 3rd or 4th sheet. One more. Sorry, it's probably the next. It's the next one. Keep going. It's the next. It's for the next house. So the house on the corner, we pulled back a fair bit of the. Yeah, it's just coming up here. See, okay, so the house on this here, if you look at the basement, the house is actually really narrow. It's actually in about 8-9 feet from the outside wall in order to preserve the roots of the tree. So we hired an arborist with this, and he confirmed for us that we could preserve all these trees with these efforts that we've made. So that's part of what our basis of when we went forward to committee. We applied to forestry before we started to make sure that we minimize the impact on the lot in every way possible. City plannings didn't have any issues with the application. If you go back to the site plan, there's one thing I just wanted to point out is there was a request by city planning about the side yard setback for part 2. Typically setbacks, for lots close to 40 to 50 foot lots, the requirements are 6 feet. We've asked for 4 feet for part 2. The reason we've asked for 4 feet is because we shifted the house over away from the trees as part of our preservation. So we actually have 8 feet on the side facing Cactus, which is why we shifted it over to 4 feet just for that lot for part 2. So that's the reason why we have a variance for that particular lot, and that was staff's concern was about the side yard setback. But the reason we did it was to shift away from those trees and to preserve it. Overall, I feel the variances that we're proposing here fit within redevelopment in the area. We did do a map just showing some comparables in the area. There are several variances related to side yard setback on other developments in the area. We did work our driveways in. We did work in, it's actually quite a challenging site considering Cactus has a bus shelter, signage, lots of things that is the reason why we have garages on Drury and not on Cactus. But it's certainly, I believe that the application before you is a reasonable development on site, that it respects the physical character of the area and the neighborhood, and I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll come back to you if there's any questions. In the meantime, we have a resident, Bonnie Wren. Are you there?
Mr. Chair and committee members,
Okay.
my name is Bonnie. I'm
Yeah.
a west side neighbor of 318 Drury Avenue. I live in 320 Drury Avenue. So
Thank
uh,
you.
re-
Tell us what's your
Thank you.
concern. Tell us what's your concern about this application.
Yeah, so I have a I have a few concerns about this proposal, the construction. So the first thing I just want to make clear. So based on your zone bylaw, so there are I received a letter that listed 11 variances. I just wonder if this one can be fixed. I heard the agent's presentation a moment ago before me. So there's a few things like the trees he addressed, but there's something missing. Like I think for me, I send you guys a letter. Yeah, that's a letter I have. So based on the bylaw, the 11 variants should be addressed clearly, based on my opinion. Also, especially to me, to my concern. So is like listed there, the proposal height of the side exterior main walls is either 8.91 meters or 9.42 meters. So it's much higher than the permitted height. So that will significantly block the sunlight of our living room and one of bedrooms and backyards. So I just wonder if that can be fixed. Also, second is the windows and doors on the west side of the Plan A, the number 318A, face to higher than our east side windows of our living room and bedroom. So that violates our privacy. So I mean the window on the new building not supposed to face to us. I mean, it's not. I don't feel comfortable. We don't feel comfortable. Either way, I don't think the new owner won't feel comfortable. So the setback of the west side of the proposal, I'm talking about only 318A. So that pack is not as the same size as ours. So the fourth one is the height of the proposal. Because the height of the proposal too high, we're concerned about the drainage of the property. Because the house, the foundation, based on the layout, I see it's a bit higher than ours. So I worry about the drainage of the property. I don't want it cause any flood or any water drainage to our property or lot. The last one is they have balconies and decks, which don't fit our community. I see there's a lot of new buildings around this campus, around this area, but it's not on the DREWRY street. So in our side, there's not much. There's no any like building with balconies. So that we feel like intimidated if we go out on the backyard. That suddenly someone show up in the middle of the year. Yeah, basically to summarize my point, I'm not opposed to the proposal, but my main concern listed there is related to our privacy, the setbacks, and the sunlight. The height of the building gonna block the sunlight of our property. Yeah, I think that's all my concerns.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I saw your letter. Now, you're Bonnie, and who's Jing Dong Lee?
It's my husband. He's sitting right beside me.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we have your comments. We'll have the agent after respond to those comments. In the meantime, see if the members have any question. If there is no question, we'll move to the next speaker. Okay, the next one is Jiangxin Mao. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yeah. Hi.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Committee.
Could you please state your name and your own address so we can be registered in the system? Please go ahead.
Sure. My name is Jiangxin Ma. I'm living at 6 Cactus Avenue, which is just north side neighbor of 318 DREWRY Avenue.
Okay. So please tell us what's your concern. And you heard the first.
Sure. Sure. My main concerns will be. I also sent a letter to the committee last week, and to be short, my main concerns are the privacy and the sunshine, because my house is the two new houses are just the south side of my house. So, and in my house, I have a window in the kitchen which is facing south, and I just because the new houses are very high, very tall, so I worry about sunshine, and I also yeah, and also the privacy. There are four new. Each house has four big windows and a basement walkout, and then two houses have over 8 windows and 2 walkouts, and facing my house. So I think it's not good for both of us in terms of privacy, and so I just want to make sure you guys can help to adjust a little bit and to protect the privacy for both of us. And I think the trees will be preserved, I think, between us. And if not, I hope that we can change to keep them.
Okay, thank you.
And thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, so you're worried about privacy and sunshine. Okay.
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Let's see if the members have any question, and we'll have the agent come back after. Okay, there is no question. I don't see any question here. Okay, so that's all I have for these speakers here. Mr. Rubinov, could you please come back and address if there's any concern here?
Sure. With regards to the neighbor at 320, there was concern about a setback. We are complying with the side yard setback on that side. We are at 1.8 meters, which is the required setback. So we don't have a variance for side yard setback on that side. With regards to the wall height, overall height, we're compliant, but with regards to the wall height, it is for the windows that project above the eave line. So if you have a look at the side elevation for 318A, part 1, you can see that there's some windows that project above the eave line. The eaves themselves are at, let me see here, 7.78 meters, where 7.5 is permitted. So if you go to the side view, the one, I believe it's not that one, the next one, the next side, that one there. That is what the height bylaw is for. It's not for the rest of the wall height. It's related to that one window. So, while I understand their concerns, we are not asking for an overall height variance to impact. The impact to them is we are compliant with the side yard setback, and it's really about that one window, which is what wall height is related to. So with regards to number 6 cactus, they mentioned a concern about privacy. We submitted some photos as part of our submissions showing the backyard and facing the neighbor at number 6. I believe we presented them, I think, further, but yeah, there. That's probably as good an indication as any. It's primarily evergreens back there, and it's very hard to. We're not going to have much, it's private already, is what I'm trying to say. We are about 42'3" from the back of our house to the property line, plus the additional distance to their house. So I'm not sure how I can see this being a privacy concern per se, because we are quite a distance back. It is our backyard, so of course we have windows and doors to go to the backyard, but I feel that the concerns expressed will not be realized, that there will be it won't be impacting on their light or their privacy in any way. I mean, certainly, we want to maintain the trees back there. Like I said, we have no intentions to touch any of those trees. They're far enough away, just to ensure that there is privacy, because it affects everybody. If they want privacy, it works both ways. So those are just my comments with regards to the neighbors' concerns. I do feel that what we're proposing does respect that privacy, and the setbacks are reflective of what's in the area.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's all we have as far as the speakers, and I saw the applications, and yeah, there's a number of variances, but I guess this goes with the severance. Any questions for this speaker? And if there is no question, maybe can I have a motion and we take on block the Ms. Atarodi, is that a question or a motion?
It's a question. I would like to ask Mr. Rubinoff to explain one more time regarding the setback variance number 7 and 10 of the application part. I think it's part, hold on a second, 2.
Part 2, yeah.
Because city staff also have a concern about it. I just would like to ask for more explanation.
Yeah, so so city requirement is a 6-foot setback on both sides. We shifted the house over towards the between the homes, away from the corner, as a tree preservation measure, which was part of our modification to preserve trees. Was we ended up with 8 feet on the city side and 4 feet between the homes. Their concern was access to the rear. But seeing as it's a corner lot, there's a lot of access anyways along the corner. But with regards to between the homes, you know, there is, we do have 5 feet on 318A, the lot to the west, part 1. Between the homes, there's actually 9 feet of space. You know, their concern was just about precedent in the area. I'm just saying that there's a site condition here, which is the reason why we requested it to be shifted over, and it is to you know, to address the trees in the area.
Okay. Thank you. Any other question? If there is no more questions, then can I have a motion then, please? Anyone? Yeah, okay, please, Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. After listening to the concerns expressed by the neighbors and the concerns from planning staff in their report with regard to the side yard setback, I've listened to the explanations provided by the agent, and I accept those explanations. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application made subject to the conditions set out in the planning staff report dated November 23rd, and also subject to forestry condition.
Yeah, I believe there was a condition of the engineering as well, if it's okay with you. There's the recommendations from the engineering report. You're okay with that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'd like to include those conditions as well.
Thank you. Okay, second. Can I have a second? Yeah, okay. Mr. Hunt, seconding. All in favor? Yeah, okay. Opposed? Ms. Atarodi is opposing. And, sir, your application is approved, subject to those conditions, standard conditions of severance, and forestry and engineering. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay. Number 3, which is 97 Sutherland Drive, application number 3. And this is a new dwelling. We have 4 variances. Transportation report has no objection, just recommendations, and forestry condition 1. So here we have number 3. There are 2 people registered here, Caroline Jin and Buddy Wang and Lisa Kudo. Who wants to speak on this application? Carol Jin, are you there?
This is Bobby Wang speaking.
Yes.
Carol, my architect Carol Jin, she can speak on our behalf. We can add in if there's any additional questions. Thank you.
Okay, so Carol Jin is the one who wants to speak. Okay, please go ahead. You have 5 minutes to make your presentation.
Hi, my name's Carol Jin. I'm the architect, principal architect, Jin Architect. I'm the agent for 97 Sutherland Drive. We're planning to tear down demolish existing building and rebuild a brand new, two-story masonry house. The new dwelling consists of 3 bedrooms with roughly 2,700 square foot, with attached 1-car garage. The variances we're applying for is the number one is the driveway width. Bylaw allows for 6.0 meter wide for the driveway. Sorry, it's a 3.2 meter wide for driveway in the front of the house. We're proposing 3.35 meter. It's very modest increase from the bylaw. It basically we're gonna be planning to use interlock. It's result of site design. A second variance we're applying for is the setback, north yard setback. The proposed the north yard setback is 0.62 meter. The existing house has 0.45 setback. So the new house actually will increase the setback to roughly 2 feet. Is actually improve the width of the driveway for the 99 Sutherland. The number three variances is the permitted height. According to the new citywide zoning bylaw, we are the lot height limit is 8.5 meter. We're proposing the new building height to be 9 meter. Again, it's very modest. So we initially will apply for 9.4 meter, and we scaled it down a little bit. Again, the fourth variance is the again, it's height. This is based on lease size zoning bylaw. The maximum height is 8.5 meter. We're proposing the building height 8.98 meter. Again, very modest. So overall, we feel our design is very compatible in terms of scales, massing, and streetscape, and then physical character of the neighborhood. Basically, yeah, we feel our variance is very modest.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Just a question about variance number 3. You said that currently is 0.44 and you're improving it by 0.62. Once you demolish the house, everything is out the door. So the required is 1.2, and you providing only just a little bit more than half. Why is it why 0.62 and not close to 1.2?
Well, basically, we like to leave more access to the south side. So on the south side of the setback, we have about over 4 feet, roughly over 4 feet. So we need to have a good access to the back for both. Yeah.
You want to have more access. Okay. Any questions? So we'll be back to them because we have other speakers here. The next speaker, David White, are you there?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'm here. I'd ask, is my consultant, Mr. Mark Kemmerer, online for you?
Okay, yeah, we have him listed here. So you want Mark Kemmerer to speak on the application? Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair, with your consent.
No problem. Mr. Kemmerer, could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Yes, thank you very much. The name is Mark, M-A-R-C, Kemmerer, K-E-M-E-R-E-R. I'm with the law firm of DREWRY Smith Frank, LLP, and our address is Suite 195 Barber Green Road. That's in Toronto, M3C3E9.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so please tell us the concern about this application.
Correct. Thanks. I've heard the submissions of agent for the applicant. My client has no concerns per se with the variances, except there is a concern with respect to variance number 3, which is the side yard setback. My clients, who are Peter and Sally White, the owners of 99 Sutherland Drive, which is the adjoining property, had requested to speak to the agent you've heard today, and you have that correspondence in front of you now. And she had previously refused to provide any sort of drawings or share any information on that. My David White, who you've heard from just a second ago, did speak to the owners, the applicants, and they came to an understanding that in return for my client's support of the variances, which you have in front of you, that they would maintain the landscaping and driveway on that the side where you have variance number 3, the north side yard. Ms. Jin was the agent for the applicant, was to provide revised drawings showing that the driveway and the landscaping was to be maintained, which is a concern for my client. And they haven't, as I understand it, been provided to the committee, so that we would request that at the very least, that be a condition of approval here, that the landscaping asphalt driveway be maintained as a condition of approval. We would, however, think it would be prudent to have those plans submitted to the committee first for the review of everyone, so that we understand that they are what is promised, and that might entail a deferral of today's matter. It could be a short deferral, of course, but that is a concern of my clients, that the landscaping and the asphalt driveway be maintained in between those two houses, so that there are no adverse impacts from the proposal.
That's it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't know, we don't normally put conditions between the two tenants, the two residents. We look at the variances. I'm asking you about variance number 3. You said you were concerned about number 3. Are you okay with the numbers they provided, 1.2 and 0.62? Any other?
The numbers themselves are not at issue. Okay. It's to make sure that in terms of a condition, I think it's an appropriate condition to impose on the application, since the applicant has already agreed to it, and it would provide assurance to my clients that there will be no negative impacts from the redevelopment of this property.
Yeah. Okay. So we're looking at the variances here, and as I said, any agreement between the two, you can make it, and whatever you want to put, asphalt or no asphalt. Generally, there is no variance here as far as the landscape. So we're looking at the 4 variances. If they didn't have these variances, they wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. So that's what we're looking at. Members, any question for the speaker? No? Okay. So we'll call back the Caroline Jane.
Yes.
Okay. You want to respond to those concerns, please? And anything that you agreed with the tenant, with the neighbor?
I discussed with my clients. We have no problem to scale back the landscape area in the front yard to maintain the driveway, existing driveway.
Okay.
Yeah. That we would modify the design when we apply for a building permit. I mean, the front yard, basically. The building stays.
Okay, let's see what the members have to say. Any question to this speaker? Yeah, okay. Mr. Please go ahead. Mr.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. My concern with that solution would be that you're reducing the landscaped area in the front yard. How do you know that you're not going under the minimum required landscape area?
I have done a calculation. I believe we can meet a required landscape coverage. Yeah. No problem.
You don't want, you wouldn't consider deferring this application so that you can
No.
revise your plan and submit it to
Yeah.
the,
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm asking you if you want to defer this so that
No, we don't want to defer. Basically, I can modify even the driveway to meet the landscape coverage. Yeah, we have a sufficient room there.
Okay, Mr. Kidd, we hear you, but we don't see you. Okay, that's fine. Mr. Kidd, do you have any other
just
questions?
let me see what I can do. Oh, there.
Yeah, okay, now I see you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have any other question, or you're all set?
I'm good, thank you.
You're good, thank you. Any other question? No, if not, can I have a motion then, please? Okay, Ms. Manning.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this application. I've listened to the applicants as well as the neighbors' submissions. I think that these variances are minor, and number 3 is an improvement of an existing condition, and there's an explanation for why that's needed for the setback on the other side. So just subject to the conditions of forestry.
And I believe there is transportation recommendations, if you're okay with that?
Yes.
You're okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So, second, can I have a second? Ms. Atarudi seconding, all in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Okay, your application is unanimous, subject to forestry and transportation. Okay, so application number 4, which is 111 GLENFOREST Road, and application number 4. And here we have is a new garage to the front, 2 minor variances. Transportation has no objection, just recommendations only. And here we have Tony Yu. Are you there?
And every committee member. I'm Tony Yu from LHW Engineer, 2347 Kennedy Road, Scarborough, and I'm today attending as an agent on behalf of owner for the application A0567/22NY.
Very good. Okay, so please make a presentation as to the merit of this application.
So, may I ask, do I need to make a presentation for this one? Okay. Yeah. Then I will make a presentation.
Excuse me, Mr. Rio. We didn't get exactly what you were asking. What was your question?
Yeah. May I ask, do I have to make a presentation for this application?
Yeah. Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Then Thank you. Then I will make a presentation. This application is seeking for a relief for the front attached garage. Based on the current bylaw, the minimum lot frontage of front garage is 7.6 meter, but the subject lot frontage is only 7.4 meter, so only less 0.2 meter. The reason for the front attached garage is because the current existing side driveway is only 2 meter. So it's not accommodate any car pass now, but the zoning examiner identify a parking space at the rear yard. So that's why I'm here. I'm hereby asking for relief from the committee to allow this variance for the subject property, considering this little narrow lot and the precedence within this area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have here Hamida Ghafour. Are you there? Hamida?
Chair, Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Hamida Ghafoor. I'm the homeowner next door at 115 Glenforest Road.
Okay, so please tell us, what's your concern about this application? They have two variances. What's your question?
Yes, so it's more of an observation and a concern I'd like to note for the record. We share a right of way with 111 Glenforest. I note that a set of plans was approved by the city last spring. The subsequent building work clearly did not reflect what was approved. The building site, it looks like a disaster zone. The entire foundations of this house seem to have been removed. It's been dangerous for the kids on the street because they throw their balls and it goes into the backyard and so on. So that's, I think, more of managing the site. I think my concern is that the applicants clearly are building what they like, because we're here again with a new variance order. And I guess my question and my concern is it legal to dig an underground garage is what I think is happening. I'm not quite clear looking at the building work. Is it an underground garage or is it in front of the building? And who is checking to make sure as well from the city that the building work to come is going to comply with what is going to be approved? And it's not going to also abut on our property, because as I say, we share a right of way with the owners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your submission. I have a hard time understanding, but that's okay. All we have here is two variances, and the difference is so small I wouldn't be able to notice it from outside. I mean, 5.6 as compared to 5.58, I wouldn't know the difference, but anyways, you mentioning disaster, I don't have any disaster as far as the applications. So let's see if the members have any question for the speaker? No? Okay. So, Mr. Yu, could you please come back here and see if you have any comment about what has been said?
For sure. I would like to address the concern from the neighbor, 115 Glenforest. The owner just said that the garage will be like a underground, or we call reverse garage. The design will be flush with the current grid, so it won't like breach any zoning bylaw, because now the zoning bylaw don't allow any reverse garage in Toronto. So I respect that, and I totally comply with the zoning bylaw in terms of this point. As for the construction, I believe the inspector will come to do the thorough inspection during the whole construction process. So I hope my answer could address the concern from the neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Any question for this speaker? Can I have a motion then? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Hunt. Mr. Hunt, please go ahead. Did you have your hand, Mr. Hunt?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to move a motion to approve this application subject only to the November 17th, 22 Transportation Services request that it be subject to all portions of the existing site access driveways that are no longer required must be closed and restored with soft landscaping and full concrete curbs to the satisfaction of the Transportation Department.
Thank you.
And also,
that's it.
If I could just add, yes, there's no forestry requirements.
No, transportation only. Thank you. Second, yeah. Mr. Tarodi, seconding. All in favor? Okay, thank you. Sir, your application is unanimous, subject to transportation.
Thank you so much.
Application number 5, which is 49 MAROWYNE Drive, application number 5. And this is front porch and garage addition, 2 variances, 2 letters of objection. And here we have Mr. Quinn Eric Young or Dora Cheong. Anybody online? Anyone for this application number 5, which is 49 MAROWYNE?
Hello.
Yeah, please, could you tell us your name, please, and address?
I'm the owner of the 49 MAROWYNE, Eric Young.
Okay.
And now we have no question at all. Okay. It's okay. That's passed. We have no question. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to make any presentation? You're the owner, or you're?
No.
No.
Oh, for the reputation is E-man is my reputation.
So you're applying for the front porch and garage addition. You have 2 variances. That's all you have, right?
Yes.
So there is no other. Okay. So that's all you have to say. We don't have any.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody registered for this one.
No.
Okay. So let's see if the members have any question. Any question here? We don't have anybody else registered here. Do you have any question for this gentleman? No? Okay. 2 variances. Can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Atarodi?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. This application is very minor. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with no condition.
No conditions. Thank you. Second? Ms. Manning, seconding. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is approved. And that's it. There's no.
Okay, thank you.
No conditions. Thank you. Okay, item number 6, which is 102 GLENCAIRN Avenue. This is for a 3rd floor dormer and enclosed existing front porch. We have 6 variances. Okay. Here we have Fabian Greco. Are you there?
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
Yeah, could you please state your name and address?
My name is Fabian Greco from 199 South Kingsway, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay, could you explain us, make your presentation as to the merit of this application with the 6 variances, please?
Yes. Please, could you kindly show the supporting material on the screen? It's just a 1-page document. Yes, it's that one document. So this project involves a 3rd floor rear dormer addition and an enclosure of an existing front porch. I would like to speak about variance number 2. The proposed floor space index is 0.84. The existing FSI is 0.8, so we are only adding 0.04 points by the enclosing area of the front porch. The purpose of enclosing the front porch is not to add living space necessarily inside the home, but to be able to use the porch as a porch year-long with the added protection from the elements. Regarding variance number 3, the reduction on the front setback is due to the front porch being enclosed. We are not proposing any new front structure or addition. Regarding variance number 5, we are over the maximum allowable height for the exterior main wall, but only at the rear of the building, which will be mostly hidden from the street or sidewalk, as you can see in the image on the screen on the left, on this Yes, on the left. We would like to maintain the existing character of the home at the front. We have discussed our application with Assistant Planner Paul Procopio, who had no comments. In my opinion, these variances, individually and collectively, meet the 4 tests. They are minor in nature. The proposal is desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land and building. The general intent and purpose of the city's zoning code and bylaw are maintained. The general intent and purpose of the official plan is maintained. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee.
Thank you. That's a good presentation. Members, any question for the speaker? Mr. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I have a question from the applicant regarding the variance number 5. The proposed height of the side exterior main wall facing a side lot line is now 10.418 meter versus 7.5. Would he clarify it?
Yes, so that variance is mainly regarding, in regards to the dormer addition at the rear of the house. So the increasing height will not be visible from the front of the house for the most part. It's only at the back. It's a wide dormer that we are adding to an existing 3rd floor sloping roof. Does that explain the variance?
Any other question? Mr. Tarodi, you're okay with that? Okay. If no more questions, can I have a motion then, please? Oh, one second. Mr. Kidd, did you have a question? Or you want to move?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I do have a question. Again, my concerns with variance number 5. There's nothing to restrict that variance to the dormer at the rear. If we approve this, there's nothing to prevent the applicant from going the 3 meters over the allowable height through the whole length of the building. Was it?
That's a very good question.
That's my concern.
Yeah, you can limit it to the dormer only. In your motion, I believe you can say okay, but subject to the approval based on the condition of it applies to the dormer only. I think.
Thank you. I think Ms. Manning had a question.
It was the same question, actually, so thank you.
Okay. Great minds think alike, eh? Yeah, Mr. Hunt? Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering, is the 3rd floor currently being used as livable space?
Yes, it is.
And that was previously approved?
There's no application that I know of record, but it has always been used as a bedroom.
Okay, so the dormer is to provide an improvement to the living conditions on the 3rd floor.
That's correct. It's to increase the height of the room.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other question? Ms. Satarodi?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. It's just a question from city staff. I would like to ask their recommendation. Is it what is the best approach to change the wording of that variance and say that it's just due to the dormer, or attach it to one of the side elevation?
You cannot change the wording to the variance. You can, however, impose a condition that specifically says what you said. So you mentioned that it's to the dormers, to the 3rd floor, and then you can tie it to a rear elevation.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. So can somebody formulate a motion, please? Mr. Kate, you had it first. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application but I would like to make it subject to the condition that the property be developed substantially in accordance with the rear elevation plan submitted with the variance application. That's my proposal.
Yeah, so what's your wording?
Mr. Kidd, if you can clarify it so that the examiner, when they're looking at it, knows exactly what they're looking for. If it is related to the dormer, then we should add that as wording as well. Just so it's clear to the person who's clearing these conditions, understands what they're looking for.
Yeah, I think
you can continue that. You can continue that
guess,
condition and say in relation to. You can finish off that condition by saying in relation to, and then state what it is. Why you want to tie it.
Okay. So I'll try that condition again. Subject to the condition that the property be substantially developed in accordance with the rear elevation plan, with relation that the proposed variance number 5 be applied solely to the third-story dormer at the rear of the property.
Yeah, that was the first. Okay, all right. Yeah, so it applies to the dormer only. That would cover the whole thing. So, can second? Do we have second for that? Mr. Hunt seconding. All in favor? See, I see lots of hands. Thank you. Okay, unanimous. Okay, sir, your application is approved, subject to.
Thank you very much.
Okay, subject to the condition for variance number 5.
Mr. Chair, can I suggest that we take a brief, that's okay?
I'm sorry, you want to recess?
Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. Okay, how about 10 minutes, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
10 minutes recess, thanks. We're halfway. Okay, is everybody back? Okay, we're missing 2 members. Okay. Is everyone here? Okay, we're missing. Thank you. Yeah, I see you, and I see Mr. Kidd, and I see Miss Tarodi. We're missing Miss Manning, but I guess we can move on. Okay, so let's resume our session here, and we have item number 7, which is 54 FOURSOME Crescent, application number 7, 54 FOURSOME Crescent, and here we have 2-story dwelling, 4 variances, 3 letters of support. And Mr. Rubinoff, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So if you make a presentation, you're the only one. We don't have anybody else here.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, this is an application for a new home. The existing home and the new home are more or less in the same location. There was just the existing home had some jogs out of it, and this is more or less filling in those spaces, and it complies with the setbacks, you know, in all ways. The variances before you are in relation to the wall height, variance number 1, and variance number 2 with regards to the rear deck projection, permitted 2.5, and we're requesting 3.05. The next door neighbor at 52 sent a letter of support in. The neighbor across the road at 47 sent a letter of support in, and the neighbor at 160 directly behind as well. The final 2 variances are related to the old bylaw in terms of calculation of height and entry height. There is a grade variation which accounts for part of it, but it's also, you know, it's also with regards to the design of the home. The variance number 1 I would like to deal with just first. It's a proposed height of the main east and west exterior main walls for 12%. So the majority of the wall is not at that height. It's just a portion of it, and it's in relation to the design of the exterior front wall that they wanted to have a more modern look. So I feel that that's relatively minor considering the rest of the home is under 8 meters.
Yeah.
Unless there's more questions, I don't really have much more to say. Thank you.
No, that variance clearly stated is a very goodly stated. It said it applies only to 12%, so there's no confusion there. Okay, so we don't have anybody else here for this speaker, for this application. Any question for the speaker? If no question, can I have a motion then, please? Okay, Mr. Hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've heard the submission by the agent. Other than the urban forestry requirements, there are no department comments or concerns, so I would move approval of this application.
Okay. Are you making it subject to forestry? Because I didn't see.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah.
That was the only. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, because I didn't have it here.
I don't see any conditions for forestry.
No, I didn't have it either. You're sure there is forestry there? Mr. Hunt, do you see forestry there? I didn't see one.
Yeah, item number 7 on the summary doesn't have.
No. Mr. Hunt, you're speaking. We see your mouth talking, but we don't hear you. I think you have some.
I'm sorry.
Okay, now we hear you.
Yes.
Now we hear you. Okay.
Under number 7, I have the following: 54 FOURSOME CRESCENT. The public notice, the location map, the survey, the plans, the supporting material, the forestry memo, and letters of support. And the forestry memo is the standard document identifying their requirements.
Sorry?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, I think this is the document, and if some of them apply, they apply, and if they don't.
Oh, okay. So it's been inserted there by mistake.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Okay. So there is no.
Mr. Chair, you're in committee.
No conditions.
You're in committee at this point.
Go ahead.
You're in committee at this point, so the applicant should not be speaking.
The applicant what?
Should not be speaking. You're in committee in the middle of a motion.
No, it's okay. He asked him question. Okay. Okay. Apart from that, do you have any?
Yeah. So
About the application.
there is no checkbox. So the member should be looking to see if there is a check in there. The forestry memo is sometimes included in your package, but if there is no checkbox, then there is no forestry requirement.
Okay. That's
okay.
That's what Mr. Hunt I mentioned. There is no condition. If there's always a report in the file about the forestry requirement, but there is no.
Okay.
The list does not list it as a condition. So
I see that. So there are no conditions.
no conditions as far as this is concerned. So can I have a motion then again?
Well, I'll restate the motion that there are no department comments or concerns, so I will move approval of this without condition.
Okay. Second, Miss Manning seconding. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. Okay, sir, unanimously approved, and there is no condition.
Thank you. My apologies for interrupting.
Okay. Number 8, which is 539 DELORAINE Avenue, application number 8. And this is for a new dwelling, 13 variances. Staff report was sent for information only. Transportation report recommends deferral. And forestry, yes, condition number 2. 1 letter of support and 1 letter of objection. And here we have number 8, we have David Bronscale. Are you there? Mr. Bronscale, are you there?
David, you're unmuted.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Is that Mr. Bronscale?
It is. Sorry, sir. I think I may have paused briefly on you. I apologize.
Okay. So just please state your name and address so we can record it here on the system.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'm appearing as agent for the applicant. It's David Bronskill. My firm is Goodman's LLP, and the mailing address is 333 Bay Street, Suite 3400 in Toronto.
Okay. Could you please make a short presentation and address the question of transportation report that recommends deferral? Are you okay with the deferral or not?
Sorry, sir, I accidentally muted myself. No, sir, we'd prefer to proceed. We think that the planning staff report, which has a condition, would be the appropriate way to address the request for deferral, which is requiring a study to be completed and submitted to deal with the reverse slope driveway, sir, which as staff point out in that planning staff report is actually an existing condition on the property. But what would happen through the planning staff condition is it would in effect give engineering staff the opportunity to review the report that we'll have to submit as part of the Toronto Water technical review for reverse slope driveway. So we'll have to clear that condition. So it effectively, I think, accomplishes what engineering staff would have wanted as part of the deferral.
Okay, so if it's a condition to transportation, you'll have to comply with it anyways.
Correct.
Okay, so so make your presentation. You have the 5 minutes, and we'll proceed.
Thank you, sir. And I should note at the start, sir, there is one variance that we would ask to be removed or eliminated. And that, sir, is variance 4, which relates to the proposed rear covered deck. There's supposed to be a setback of 1.8 meters. The variance initially was for 1.69, but that variance, sir, we would ask to be eliminated so that the rear covered deck as proposed would have a setback of 1.8 meters.
Okay, so that's a variance number what?
I believe, sir, it's 4 on my list.
Okay, so you want to remove that one. Okay.
Please.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So this is, and if staff were able to pull up as part of, I do see the presentation materials are there. Thank you. The colored site plan, it would be appreciated. This is an existing house that is there today with the reverse slope driveway. We also did a rough calculation that the house itself today has a coverage of about 35.54%. When the rear deck is included, it's actually a coverage of about 42%. What's being done here is a new 2-story dwelling for our client, designed for their specific needs. You can see on the color site plan, the green is the existing home. The red, as we sometimes show on these for you, is what would be a permitted outline based on setbacks, lengths, etc. And then you can see the proposed dwelling is slightly larger than the existing home, but in keeping with the envelope contemplated by the zoning bylaw. You can see that we've labeled length and depth as measured under the zoning bylaw of 18.06 and 18.11 meters respectively. So they aren't, in my respectful submission, a long, deep house as we often see. It's in keeping with contemplated lengths and depths for homes, and therefore is in keeping with what you might typically see on a lot such as this in the area. I think the most contentious variance for you may be the lot coverage overall. And I did see the one letter of concern submitted by the adjacent neighbor. I would simply note that we did look at the numbers both in the immediate context and the broader context as required under the OP. New homes on the immediate context, i.e. this block of DELORAINE Avenue, are actually seeing coverages above 33% and ranging up to 36% in all directions. Moving a bit east and a bit south, you see coverages of over 37%. And in the broader geographic neighborhood, you are seeing coverages as high as 39.9%. And so from a numbers perspective, what is being proposed here is in fact in keeping with the quantitative range of coverages you're actually seeing in the neighborhood. And I note for this committee, unlike some coverages that I have actually presented to you in the past where staff have asked for a reduction down to a specific number that they see as the prevailing character in the area, staff are not taking that position here. They've recommended the condition related to the driveway, but they're not asking for a further reduction in the proposed lot coverage. It's acceptable to city planning staff. Overall, then, we do think it's a reasonable proposal. I'll comment quickly on the driveway. We're keeping that existing driveway and incorporating it into the house. So it exists there today, but we will, with the condition recommended by planning, ensure that all of the matters related to Toronto Water concerns about flooding are addressed through that clearance process. But it is an existing condition today, so that we're not introducing a new reverse slope driveway. For all those reasons, and in reliance on the city planning staff report, we do hope the committee could see fit to approve it, subject to the conditions. And as always, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee may have.
Okay, yeah, we have some questions, but in the meantime, we'll listen to the other speaker here, and we'll get you back. Here we have Don Taylor. Are you there?
Oh, I'm here.
Mr.
Thank you
Taylor,
very
okay, could you please state your name and address for the records here?
Could you please state your name and
My name is Don Taylor, 541 DELORAINE, immediately to the west of the applicant.
Thank you. Tell us so please tell us what's your concern about this application.
The concern that I have and my family have is expressed in the submission which had previously been made. The specific concerns that we have is in regard to substantial reduction in the rear yard, which has already been substantially reduced beyond that which is expressed in the zoning bylaw. We are concerned about the excessive coverage of the front yard with pavement and asphalts below what we understand to be the standard objective in North York. I am concerned about the scale of the coverage requested, in that it is substantially higher than the other coverages which have been provided by the committee over the last 20 years, which have run up to about 37%, and several of the 37 applications have in fact been refused by the committee and reduced to, I think, generally speaking, to the 33% area. I have personally been involved with other members of the community in dealing with an application from the owner of property 338, which is immediately opposite our property of 341, or 541, I should say. I should know by now. In that case, the application was for 33% coverage. The committee...
You only have a limited time, so just detail what your...
excuse me, hold a second. Who's talking there?
I'm the caregiver here because he had a hearing issue.
Excuse me, hold a second. Can you please state your name? Your name and address.
Girlica Lopez. Girlica Lopez.
Okay, so are you joining the speaker here, Don Taylor?
I'm just trying to translate sometimes if he cannot hear properly.
Well, I think we heard him very clearly, and tell us what you want to translate. What word do you want to translate?
Mr. Chair?
I want him to tell what he is concerned in summary because he had a limited time.
Okay, all right. So he still has 2 minutes, and I'll let you speak for the 2 minutes, and I don't want any interference, please.
Mr. Chair?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Hold a second there.
Mr. Chair, she is his caregiver.
Yes.
So she's just trying to help him.
Yes, I understood. And I told her if she was, so far I understood him. So, we understand very good. We understood Mr. Taylor. So far he did everything right. And please continue. And if you have some more time, need some more time, I'll give it to you. Please go ahead. Mr. Taylor, go ahead, please.
May I proceed?
Yes.
I understand your limited time, and you're very busy, and I appreciate your time for the community.
Don't worry. Please go ahead.
At 5, I was speaking, I wanted to continue to complete what my association been with the 538 application to the committee, which was for 33% on the basis of neighborhood opposition. It was not approved. So the owner was confronted with maximum of 30%. They have built to 30% in 1998. The number of applications to the committee from that point on to 2003, I guess, were very limited. And in fact, there were no applications for coverage increase beyond 30. In 2003, an application was made for 529, I believe, for 35%. It was approved by the committee, appealed to the Ontario Municipal Board, reviewed by the board, and subsequently in 2011, they came back with another application for their particular property. But generally speaking, and I and my family are concerned about the size of the coverage which is being applied for relative to others in the area, and knowing from experience that 39%, once approved, will be used by many others that have similar sized property, not only in immediate adjoining, but in other parts of the community.
Okay, Mr. Taylor, we understand.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We understand very well the application, the variance of the coverage, and you explained it very, very well. And just let's see if the members have any question. Any question for this resident who's concerned about the variances? Okay, then we'll go back to Mr. Bronscale. Mr. Bronscale, could you please?
Hello, sir.
Could you please explain the need for 39.29 coverage, which we all have questions, and the resident has as well. So please explain.
Well, sir, I don't know that I have to explain need, in that need is not one of the tests under 45(1) of the Planning Act.
No, we didn't say need. We didn't say need.
Oh, I thought you said need.
No,
Sorry, sir.
The one, because I need to ask. I had the same question, and I said we'll come back and ask you a question. So
okay,
I have a question before that. What's the size of the property?
I apologize, sir. I misunderstood your question. You want the total GFA of the property?
Correct.
It's 506.30 square meters, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So please go ahead and explain the variances requested.
Yes, sir. So again, sir, I come back to both the numbers, i.e. the quantitative, and then also the qualitative exercise involved in how something has been deployed on the site. And sir, I also again rely on the planning staff memo, where I have been in front of this committee before, asking you not to go along with the planning staff memo where they've been recommending a reduction. This is a case where planning staff is in fact not here recommending a reduction to the proposed coverage. City planning staff have reviewed it from the same quantitative and qualitative perspective and are satisfied. As I noted in my initial comments, the existing house is 35.54%. The rear deck, when added to it, creates a coverage of 42%. What's happening here is a slight redeployment of some of the GFA. You can see there's a modest small extension at the front, although it would still be behind 541. There's a filling in of a corner, so there's a very small additional length next to the previous speaker's property. And then there's a one-story breakfast nook on the back. Overall, it's in keeping with the rear yard setback length and depth, and there are no landscape variances. So in fact, the green space required by the bylaw is overall being provided. What we did do, because the numbers, as you note, sir, are always relevant, we've looked at the neighborhood, and frankly, sir, the range of coverage being granted in this neighborhood is about 33% up to 39.9%. And there are many instances of coverages being granted above 37 and including above 39. They are below 40%. So from a numerical perspective, that does appear to be an upper limit below which any number in terms of a variance coverage should be granted. But overall, I come back to the qualitative aspect then to look at how that coverage is then deployed on the site. And as I noted to you earlier, when you compare it to the existing dwelling, it is comparable. There's only marginal changes outside that existing footprint. And the largest protrusion outside that existing footprint is just the one-story breakfast nook on the back that is set back from both property lines in accordance with the bylaw. So, sir, it's quantitative and qualitatively something in keeping with both the intent of the zoning, but most importantly, the intent of the OP.
Are you finished? Yeah?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Unless there are other questions.
Thank you. Questions for this speaker? No questions? Okay. Mr. Tarodi?
To you, Mr. Chair, I don't have a question, and I carefully listened to explanation of the applicant regarding the lot coverage, that it was existing was 35, with deck was 42. But this application is a new two-story dwelling, so that's why I feel like although they are just building something less than what it was on the side, or it is on the side, but this is, I haven't been convinced by the explanation, and I read the city staff. I know they didn't have a comment, but my personal comment is that I still haven't been convinced, because it's completely new two-story dwelling. So it's and then normally it's 30%. So I think 39.29 is a huge number. It's not minor, to my understanding. That was just a comment, not a question.
Okay, it's a comment. Okay, any other comment or question? Then we'll ask for a motion, and you make your choice. Any other comment or question? Okay, if there is none, then I need a motion. Make your motion. Mr. Tarod, you're smiling. Make your motion. Anyone for a motion? Okay, Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I similarly am concerned about the lot coverage. It does seem very high to me. However, I do tend to rely on the planning staff to give us information as to what's appropriate for the neighborhood. And in this case, they haven't flagged this as a problem. So I would like to go ahead and put forward a motion to accept this application as amended to delete variance number 4, and subject to the condition that requires the applicant to apply for a water technical review for a reverse slope driveway, and that the proposed reverse slope driveway receive approval from Toronto Water, and also receive approval from the Transportation Department as well, subject to forestry condition.
Okay.
That's my proposal.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a second? There is no second? Okay, so your motion failed. There is no second. Can I have another motion, please? Mr. Hunt, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Based on the presentation and the reports that we have received, mainly the Transportation Services request to defer and the Planning Department recommendation that the Committee of Adjustment required Toronto Water technical review, I am going to move a motion to defer this application to give the applicant an opportunity to deal with these departments.
Okay. Do I have a second? Ms. Atarodi, seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, Mr. Kate is opposing, and 3 are to defer. Okay, sir. The members decided to defer the application as requested by Transportation. We don't normally, once we discuss, we prefer to discuss the application, and if we defer, we'd like it before. But since here, in this case, the members decided, so the application is deferred. And Mr. Kate, is it Sunny Day?
Yes, it's Sunny Day.
Okay, so it's deferred. Sunny
Mr.
Day.
Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I would ask for a notice of decision regarding the deferral, please.
We do not. I'm sorry. Once we decide on the deferral, we cannot. Once we make a decision and the members decide.
I understand.
We can't open it. We can't talk.
I'm not asking you to, sir. I'm not asking you to reopen it. I'm asking that staff provide a notice of decision that was the decision of the committee, not just minutes. This is a decision of the committee to defer over the objection of the applicant, and a notice of decision should be issued by the committee, not just minutes.
Mr. Chair, we'll note his request.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
We note it as requested, and Transportation, by the way, recommends deferral. Okay. Next we have number 9. Number 9, which is 551 Broadway Avenue, application number 9. 551 Broadway. And this is an application for new dwelling, 7 variances. Staff report recommend just the conditions, and we have 2 letters of objection. So here we got Mr. Jonathan Benskowski. Are you there?
Morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, committee.
Okay, could you please state your name and address?
Jonathan Benskowski, 301 Keewatin Avenue.
Thank you. And could you please make your presentation? And we have
Yes.
We have another speaker here, so we'll come back to you after you make your presentation.
Yes, could we bring up the material I filed, please? So the proposal before you is to construct a new 2-story dwelling. What I've done is I've just prepared a couple of visuals to kind of illustrate where the variances are and how they fit in with the neighborhood of what's surrounding. What we see on the first is just basically a streetscape picture. The subject property is the bungalow on the right. This is really just to show that there are new developments along Broadway, really throughout Broadway as we come from Bayview all the way through past Laird into Brentcliffe. The built form of integral garages and 2-story dwellings exists in great numbers in that area. If we could zoom in on the survey, please. To focus on a little bit on the variances, what I've done here is I've taken the existing survey just to illustrate what the side yard setbacks are of both adjacent dwellings, both to the east and to the west. We do know from the picture I just illustrated there, we can see that it is a newly built dwelling at 553, which has a side yard setback of 0.62 meters, very similar to the 0.61 meters that is before you today. Additionally, the existing bungalow to the west has an existing side yard setback of 0.49 meters. So in my opinion, the introduction and the request for a 0.61 meter side yard setback is not out of keeping with what is in the neighborhood and already exists on both adjacent to both adjacent neighbors. If we could continue on, please. The next graphic is just illustrating where the side main wall height request is for. So if we zoom in there, the only portion of the dwelling on this side that is requesting an increase of the side main wall height of the 7.5 meters, or sorry, of the 7 meters, is that highlighted portion in the top left corner. The rest of the side main wall heights are in compliance with the zoning bylaw. We could continue on to the next graphic, please. Additionally, what I've also done here is I've taken, again, that other side elevation and have colored in the yellow portion that is requesting the side main wall height increase. That is appropriated in the middle of the dwelling, reducing any impact on the rear yards of the adjacent neighbors to the east and the west, as it would be visible to both neighbors in their rear yards as well as from the streetscape. That side main wall height complies with the zoning bylaw. Lastly, to address the gross floor area, if we could bring up the proposed site plan, please. And again, from the picture we saw originally, we know that the adjacent house to the west is a newly constructed dwelling. What we see here is the actual proposed house at 551 is actually recessed from that existing newly built dwelling to the east. So in terms of where the gross floor area is being appropriated, in my opinion, it would be in keeping with the context of both Broadway here as well as the broader neighborhood. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that may arise from this.
Thank you. We have one more speaker here. Jay Chen, are you there? Jay Chen? Is he online?
I've unmuted a Steven Chen, who I believe is also called G.
Jay Chen, are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, could you please state your name and address for us? Yeah, I think you're cutting off. Could you please check your equipment?
I actually live at 553 Broadway Avenue. I think I just want to echo that I think the variance is not a minor variance in my view, and I think the tweak from the zoning law I think should be strictly obeyed. So I don't think that's I don't think it's a small variance, first of all. And secondly, I just want to add that I'm very concerned about construction noise in the neighborhood and specifically to my home. So I think I hope you could also take that into into account. Thank you.
Okay, so when you say construction, during the construction, that's I don't think we can deal with it here. But when you say variances are not you're concerned about the variances, any particular variance you're concerned about?
I think it's in one of the letter that the Lee's side residents association put together. I have reviewed that letter. I think it summarized my view very well.
Oh, so no specific variance. Okay. Any question for the speaker? Okay, Mr. Benkovsky. Sorry. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Benkovsky. Could you?
I'm here, sir.
Yeah. Could you come back, please, and summarize? And if you understood what Mr. Chen is saying about the variances, could you please answer that question?
Yes. I think the concerns of Mr. Chen, he is the resident of that newly built dwelling that actually extends further than the proposed dwelling that is before you today. Really, those concerns of the variances being too high is really mitigated again by that rear wall being proposed recessed from his existing rear wall, as well as the side main wall height being compliant essentially for the whole portions of the dwelling that would be visible into his rear yard. And really, to summarize, this is along Broadway, which is a fairly heavy traffic street in Lee side. There is considerable development of newly constructed dwellings with integral garages that would really mirror what is being proposed before you today. And that really summarizes my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Any question for this speaker? No? Can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Manning? Ms. Manning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve this application. I think the four-part test is met, and just subject to being tied to the east and west side elevation drawings.
On the staff report, right. Okay, thank you. Second, Ms. Attarodi seconding. All in favor? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, sir, your application is unanimously approved, subject to the staff report of condition to attach to east and west elevation drawing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, application number 10, which is 46 Melrose Avenue. And this is, we have here, is a two-story dwelling, 7 variances, transportation report, ask for just deferring their comments. And forestry condition number 2, 1 letter of objection and 2 letters of support. Now, the transportation report does not request to defer. All they say, they defer their comments. So I let it, and here we have Mr. Robinoff. Are you there?
Yes, good morning. It's Glenn.
Okay, so the transportation report is asking to defer their comments. So you're not asking for deferral, are you?
As soon as we received the comments, they just had some dimensions that they wanted us to add, which we did, and we sent it to them about 2 weeks ago, or whenever they asked for it.
Okay, thank you. So please go ahead and make your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. So this is an application for number 46 Melrose Avenue. That's an application for a new home. The application has 7 variances. We did an area map just showing what's being built in the area, and specifically on Melrose, DELORAINE, and some adjacent streets. I read the letter of concern from the neighbor at number 40, which is relative to 46. It's 2 doors down, but we also have an application with you today for 44 following this. So the letter we have is from 40. It's just to be clear. So for the concern that expressed was with regards to wall height, side wall height, and building length. With regards to building length, I just wanted to address that, there's a lot of homes in the area that have, these lots are quite deep. This is 45.7 meter depth, and it leaves in the backyard of both homes 64 feet of backyard area. And one of the concerns was for increased, they were concerned about the loss of, land, amenable space. But I believe that there's a lot of space back there. There are some trees at the back which are not being impacted. I'm not sure that the length is going to have. There is also, should mention that number 40, even though we're talking about 46 right now, number 40 has a row of trees along the side of their house, which goes beyond what looks like a walkout on their side. If you look at the site plan, probably shows that best. So their deck is actually on the other side and not on the side facing 44 or 46. However, I understand their concerns, but it's not something that hasn't been seen before on this, especially because of the length of the lot, and there's certainly enough amenity space with regards to that. With regards to the height of the wall height, because we're talking about the wall height here, the height is taken. If you go to the side there, you'll see there that window that pops up. So it's a similar situation in that that is what would be how the variance is identified, but in fact the actual eaves are not at they're at 7.98. They're under 8 meters, but because of the projection of the window, that is what the reason for that variance is. The other items related to landscaping in the front is because all of these houses are located very close to the front property line, so it's hard to get a driveway and porch and steps in without having a variance there. And most redevelopments in the area do have a requirement. Of course, we are amenable to permeable pavers, but as you may have noted, city planning had not commented on this file. They had no concerns that they expressed to us. They just simply said they would not be writing on it. With regards to, they're relatively narrow lots, but the eave setback is a fairly standard variance in that regard. And with regards to density, it's for 46, it's a 69.5 or 0.695 density, which is also well within, or in fact, it's not as much as many people have asked for in the area. So, I mean, it is a redevelopment of the site, but I do believe that it does meet the 4 tests. We have using existing driveway and not impacting on the tree in front, and just basically just trying to build something which fits into the area. Anyways, I'll leave it at that because I recognize that there may be other speakers. So thank you.
Okay. No, there's no more speakers, it's just you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we don't have any other speakers here, just you. And any questions for this speaker? If there is no questions, maybe I'll have a motion, please. Mr. Tarodi?
Yes, to you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the explanation, and I've been convinced that this variance are minor. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with one and subjected to urban forestry and subjected to transportation, and also would like to add one condition that the driveway to be constructed with permeable pavers.
Permeable pavers. Okay, thank you. And
that's my.
And second, Mr. Kidd. No, Mr. Hunt. Mr. Hunt is seconding. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. So say, sir, your application is approved unanimously, subject to forestry and transportation, and the driveway with permeable materials. Now,
Thank you very much.
Okay, so stay right there. The next one is yours.
Yes.
The next one is 44 Melrose Avenue. And this we have new dwelling, 8 variances, transportation. Also the same thing, they're deferring their comments. They're not asking to defer, they're just deferring their comments. Forestry.
That's correct.
Forestry condition number 3. And we have 2 letters of support. So please make a short presentation and we can move on.
Yeah, the variances before you on this house are also are similar in that they're, you know, it's of a similar length of dwelling. The variances are similar in terms of density. It's at 0.7 instead of 0.69. It's just subtle design differences because it's a different type of home. The wall height is actually taken to just the same, a raised area. So it's not really something that is, if you go on the other side, you see again with the window there. Again, I don't feel this is something that is out of keeping with the area, and I don't think I will go. Same thing, and we're happy to provide permeable pavers if that is a condition presented. And again, we've respected the tree on the side of the property using the using the existing driveway and keeping the impacts to a minimum. Thank you.
Okay. Any question? I don't see the whole screen. I don't see any hands. If no questions, can I have a motion then, please? Could you remove that screen, please? It's froze. Okay, so yeah, I see the hands there. Ms. Satarodi.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. This is a similar application. I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application subjected to urban forestry, transportation, and also would like to add 2 conditions. One of them is the driveway to be constructed with a permeable paver material. The second one is that I would like to add height to the left elevation. I mean, the construction be substantially according to the left elevation to explain the side height, height.
So the condition to be the height. Could you rephrase that one, please?
The first condition is that there are driveway to be constructed with permeable paver.
I got that one.
The second one is I also want to tie it to the left elevation to explain about that main wall height.
Main wall height. Okay.
I mean the wording. Maybe if city staff can help me.
I'm sorry. Could you be specific?
No. Construction will be substantially accordance with the left elevation drawing.
Left elevation drawing. Okay. Okay. Because your system was cutting off, so we couldn't hear it properly. Now I got it. Okay. A second, please. Okay. I have 2 seconds. Miss Manning, okay, Miss Manning seconding. All in favor? Okay. So, sir, your application is approved subject to those conditions. Did you get the conditions? Forestry?
Yes.
Transportation, and the main wall height?
It's left side, yes.
And permeable materials. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Application number 12, which is 42 King High Avenue. Application number 12. This we have a new 2-story dwelling, 3 variances, and forestry condition number 1. That's all I have on that one. And here we have Mr. Franco Romano. Are you there?
afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Franco Romano, 2095 Autumn Breeze Port Credit.
Thank you. And please go ahead and make your representation. We don't have anybody else here listed, just you. So so that should be just you. Yeah, just you. Okay, so please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. If staff can bring up my presentation slide, I'm sure the committee has taken a look at this. This is an application that's located, the property is located on the west side of King High Avenue. And we'll see that the street and the neighborhood consists of older and more recent construction. And there's an air photograph that I have on that presentation slide that you'll see.
Staff is just currently trying to pull up the documents. Oh, you can continue, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So on the air photograph, you'll see that there are building footprints that are very similar. Some are a little smaller and some are larger than the proposed building footprint. The building that's being proposed has 3 variances. One is for a building length of 18.95 meters, whereas 17 meters is permitted. You'll see that that building length is positioned right next to the 2 adjacent dwellings, and it still has a substantial rear yard setback, 18.68 meters. And the front yard setback is obviously zoning bylaw compliant. So are the side yard setbacks. In terms of lot coverage on the street, we have lot coverages that exceed 35% for many dwellings on King High as well as in the surrounding neighborhood. So the proposal at 33.26 is very modest and in keeping with the street and the neighborhood. So is the building length. We'll see building lengths of a similar size next door and even across the street and down the street. And the third variance is for a half wall projection into the front yard of 1.86, which is basically an architectural feature that's right next to the stairs and the porch. So there's no interference with the driveway access or the front yard in that regard. So we have worked with staff, and planning staff have no objections. Urban Forestry has one condition of approval, which is for the permit for the street tree. Although the existing driveway is being widened a little bit, that street tree is being protected. So there's no concerns with any of the private or city or neighboring trees. So there's no concerns or objections, and it's my opinion that the proposal satisfies all 4 tests for a minor variance, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Yeah, there is no other speaker. This is for 42 King High Avenue. Miss Manning, did you have your hand? Any question first? There is no question. If there is
question.
Miss Manning, did you have a question? Please,
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted a further explanation about the architectural feature, variance number 3. It's a half wall. Where is it located?
Yeah, I understand staff are having a hard time bringing up the visuals, but if you look at the, I guess a side elevation is probably the best one to look at. If you look at the left side elevation, that's a south side elevation. The front of the house is on the right-hand side, and you'll see that there's a half wall there. It's just in front of, well, in between that half wall and the, in between us and the staircase is that half wall. So it's basically an architectural feature that's just is a post right in front of the dwelling. It provides architectural interest at the front, and it kind of anchors the front porch.
You got it?
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? No? Then maybe can I have a motion then? Miss Manning, do you want to make a motion? Okay, so please go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I've listened to the applicant submissions. I believe these variances are all minor. I'd like to make a motion to approve these subject to the conditions of forestry.
Forestry, thank you. Second, Ms. Satarodi seconding, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Sir, your application is unanimously approved, subject to forestry.
Thank you kindly, appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. application number 13. Okay, application number 13, which is 30 Caswell Drive, application number 13. This is a new dwelling, 13 variances, 9 letters of objection, transportation report, no objection, recommendation only, forestry condition number 1, staff report came at the end last night. It's called for modification of variances number 1, 2, and 12 per applicant. So they're asking to modify it, and we'll hear from them. So we have here the applicant Addison Millprice.
Good afternoon.
Okay, can you
Mr. Chair.
Okay, can you please state your name and address for us?
Yes, my name is Addison Milne Price of Design Plan Services at 900 The East Mall, Suite 300, Toronto.
Okay, so before we go there, if you have any changes, could you please state them, and so we can start with those ones.
Thank you.
You're changing applications as I understood 1, 2, and 12.
Yes, that's correct. So on the public notice, variance number 1 for overall height will be amended from 10.72 meters to 10.3 meters.
Thank you.
Variance number 2, the height of the front and rear main walls will be amended from 8.31 meters to 8.0 meters.
Okay.
And lastly, variance 12 for the height under bylaw 7625 will be amended from 11.64 meters to 11.22 meters.
Very good. I appreciate you're very clear. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have lots of other speakers here, so please make your presentation and we'll come back to you.
Thank you. Now, before I get into the specifics of the proposal, I would like to note that we have consulted with planning staff, and the revised plans uploaded on November 15th indicate the revised variances. I've also reviewed the urban forestry and transportation reports and am agreeable to all of their conditions recommended. Now, regarding the variances, based on my review of the main issues raised in the objection letters, I'd like to point out that several of the variances are technical in nature and are a result of the unique grading on the property that slopes downwards towards Lloydminster Crescent. In particular, since the established grade is so far below the actual finished grade on the majority of the property, the variances that rely on this measurement, such as the height and the number of stories, would be perceived to be as compliant with the zoning provision. So to specifically speak to variances 1 and 2, the majority of the proposed dwelling, as shown on the elevation drawings, will be perceived as a compliant height. In particular, the most of the dwelling will be less than 10 meters tall. The same is true for variance 2. The majority of the side, front, and rear main walls will be perceived as less than 8 meters tall. For the portions of the dwelling where the established grade is closer to the finished grade, the additional height over what is permitted as of right will be practically imperceptible. Now, regarding variance 3, I'll note that in a similar manner to variances 1 and 2, the first floor height will be perceived as compliant for the majority of the dwelling in the exact same manner. Regarding variances number 4 and 5, note that although these variances are to extend the building length and building depth, the proposed dwelling is compliant with lot coverage, all required setbacks, including the rear yard setback, and all landscaping requirements, which indicates that the proposed dwelling is appropriate for the lot on which it is situated and doesn't represent an overdevelopment of the specific site. Now, in regards to variance 6, pertaining to the number of proposed stories, as I explained for the height, and as you can clearly see on the elevation drawings, this building will be perceived as a 2-story dwelling. This variance in particular, it's also related to the definition of the first floor, which is defined as the floor of the building that is closest in elevation to the established grade. Note that the definition explicitly excludes areas used for a parking space, and since the established grade is below the actual grade for the majority of the lot, the basement is considered the first floor. Based on this, the proposed dwelling will not have any impact greater than a two-story dwelling with a visible basement garage, which is permitted as of right and is the exact same style as the adjacent building, 28 Caswell Drive. Variance 7 pertains to the proposed vehicle access. The proposed vehicle access is to a parking space is from the Front Street, Lloydminster Crescent. This variance is a result of Lloydminster Crescent being considered the fronting street as per the definition in the bylaw. As stated in the transportation report, however, both Caswell Drive and Lloydminster Crescent are local roads and are not considered major streets as per bylaw 569 overlay map. In addition, 36 and 71 Lloydminster both have vehicle access from Lloydminster Crescent, which indicates that this variance will be in keeping with the existing trend of vehicle access along Lloydminster. Now, variants 8 and 10 are both related to the porch on the south side of the dwelling. Note that if Caswell Drive was considered the front of the property, this porch would be permitted as of right to encroach 2.5 meters into the required front yard setback. Now, if I could also discuss variants 9 and 11, both of these variances speak to balconies, but as you can see from the elevation drawings, there are no balconies that are proposed as part of this dwelling. Both the platforms proposed are only considered balconies because they are accessed from what was considered the second floor of the dwelling. As mentioned earlier, the first floor of the building is the basement due to the definition of first floor. These balconies will be indistinguishable from a rear deck and porch, both of which would be permitted as of right. Lastly, I'll quickly mention the variances under zoning bylaw 7625. Both variances are technical in nature and are only applicable due to outstanding appeals under the current citywide bylaw. Under the former bylaw, the proposed dwelling is considered a flat roof. However, under the current bylaw, the dwelling is considered a sloped roof and is compliant with the maximum permitted height for the majority of the dwelling, as I discussed. Through you, Mr. Chair, based on this provided justification, I'm of the opinion that this proposal is minor, represents good planning, and meets the 4 test under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Thank you. Yeah, I see you're explaining very clear. The one regarding the 2 and 3 story, you explained that the basement is considered as a first story, and so they have the right to put it as a variance, but it's basically a technical 3 story. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Since the basement is the closest to the established grade, it is considered the first floor.
Okay. Okay, so we have a couple more speakers here. First is Adam Mamdani. Are you there?
Mr. Chair, I do not see Adam on the call.
No? Okay. How about Gerard Ho? Are you there? Or Gloria? Yeah, Gerard, are you there?
Gloria,
yes.
yeah.
I'm Gerard Ho.
Okay, Gerard, hi. Could you please state your name and address?
Yeah, my name is Gerard Ho.
Okay.
I live in 71 Lloydminster, Crescent.
Thank you. And tell us what's your concern.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. After I reviewed the proposal of the house, 13 Caswell Drive, I strongly object to the 13 variants. It's not minor, such as variants number 6 and 12. They increase the building height 3.64 meters higher or build the 3 stories instead of 2. is against the permit maximum of the zoning by law. My house just located upon next and sit down grade with the proposed house. Then the 3 stories. It means 3.5 stories for me. As proposed house close to a lot line and compare my house subsurface terrain below, I feel disquieting that looks similarly living under the high cliff. It blocks all the sunlight a half of day, from morning to noon. The tall building is affecting the airflow with my house is it below grade. We will lose the quality of life in gardening and outside activity under the big shadowing. As shown on north elevation, plan A2.3, they have 3 windows and 2 huge decks on the south of house. It overviews my whole property and makes me uncomfortable in privacy. Besides the north side of the house facing to me, it has 11 big windows around the 3 sides at the top floor of the house. It overviews all the neighbors and affects their privacy too. Variants 9 and 11. The size of one real deck at the 2nd floor is over 6 times bigger than permit maximum. And the second one at the 1st floor also has double size over the permit maximum. It intends many people for gathering, also affect the surrounding privacy and not the character of our neighbors. Height and bulk building sit on the middle of the inclined road that affect the around area and not compatible with existing house and streetscape. Variance number 7. The proposed driveway is from Lloydminster. It makes the traffic confused. It is a T-junction on the inclined road, as the stop sign already sit at the end of Lloydminster. It only 5 meter away driveway instead of 9 meter of the permit minimum. It will add dangers for other drivers. That's all I want to speak out. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see if there's any question. Any question for the speaker? No? Okay. Staff, the next one, it shows also Gloria. Is it the same one as the one who spoke now?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Gloria Kim. Yeah. My address is 71 Lloydminster.
Okay. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. I'm the wife of Gerard Ho. We have lived in our house for over 25 years.
Okay.
I object the proposal of this application 30 CASWELL Drive because all 13 overscaled variants on the proposal is completely violating the current zoning scale and really challenging to the city zoning bylaw. The proposal exists in height of new house with totally overshadowed my home. We will experience a significant loss of sunlight and privacy. The proposed driveway from Lloydminster Crescent is beside the stop sign and junction of the road. As Lloydminster is the school road of St. Angus Catholic School, Birdbrook College School, and Lillian Public School, it makes the big concern for the traffic accident. This proposal is direct conflict with us and our surrounding neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider our objection.
Okay, thank you. So you agree with the first speaker? Any question? No. Okay, now we have Mr. Addison came back. Addison, Adam Mandani, yeah, is he back? Yeah, he said he's back. Adam Bandani, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Adam, yeah, where are you? Could you please state your name and address, please?
Yes, thank you. Address is 28 Caswell Drive, which is directly beside the property that is being proposed at 30 Caswell Drive.
Okay, and you're Adam Mandani?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So please tell us what's your concern about this application.
So, so far I've seen 9 other letters of objections, and we certainly object to some components of this application. My first concern is the height of the building. We live next door, so obviously a big experience of loss of privacy and sunlight. The other issue is the maximum allowed number of stories, which should be permitted at 2 and not 3. This does not stay consistent with the current neighborhood. My second concern is the platform at or above the second story of a detached house of 4 meters and the proposed area of the rear deck balcony at the second story. This variance is very large and is not consistent with the area and surrounding houses. The proposed deck area is over 6 times the maximum area of each platform at or above the second story of a detached house. I wouldn't consider this to be a minor variance, but more a major. So my big issue here is really the idea that you've got single house dwellings that have 2 stories and a proposed build of 3 stories, as well as a large proposed deck area. That 3 stories, similar to what the other gentleman and lady said, will create a significant loss of privacy and sunlight and is not consistent with the current neighborhood, and something that we object in terms of the components of the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Any, hold a second, please. Hold a second. What's that?
There's also one.
Yeah, I know. I have it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so any questions for the speaker? No? Okay, thank you, sir. Now we have one more speaker here. Tai Han Wai Tai, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, can you please state your name exactly and your address, please?
Okay, my name is Han Ying Tai. My address is 36 Caswell Drive. Okay.
Tell us what's your concern. Anything different from what it has been said?
Okay. Okay, all my objection, I have been written on my objection letter already. Yeah. But only for me, I just want to really concern. The first thing is the traffic on the Caswell Drive to the Line Minister, because they changed the garage to the Line Minister, and it is really close to the stop sign area, and all the school bus and all the bus, they will be pass by the road, so it is really hard for us. And the story is too high for me. When we going to that stop sign, turning to right, and we have to move our car, really go ahead to see clearly, and then we can turn our car, okay? This is the one I really concerned. And the other second thing, I have the same thinking about of the 28 of Caswell Drive. This is the single one house. It's not the one making a purple, something like a lot of people. They look like they stay over there. They have a lot of party, and they will have a lot of traffic, and a lot of car will pass beside of our neighborhood. This is the one thing they will make us lose our privacy and stop the way, and make us feel really uncomfortable or sufficiency. So this is the one I really want to state.
Okay, thank you. Any question for this speaker? Okay, so this is the end of our speakers, and we'll call back the agent. Could you please come back here and address those concerns? Addison Mine?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, please go ahead.
May I begin my rebuttal?
So go ahead, please. Explain. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So in regards to Mr. Ho's comments, I agree that these variances, if taken at face value, could be seen as an overdevelopment. This is why each application must be evaluated, among other aspects, in the context of the topographic condition it is sitting in. A three-story building would indeed be out of keeping with this neighborhood. However, as I explained in my initial presentation, this building would actually be perceived as lower than the required height of 10 meters. In addition, with regard to Mr. Ho's concern of vehicle access, I would point out that both Ms. Tam and Mr. Ho's property is accessed from Lloydminster, and therefore would not create any further impact greater than 71 Lloydminster's access. With regard to the concerns of sunlight loss, every building constructed does have an impact on the loss of sunlight. However, this impact is contemplated by the zoning bylaw. This is the reason for the height limit. As I pointed out, the height proposed is largely technical as a result of the established grade. With regard to Mr. Mamdani's concerns, I'd like to point out that 28 Caswell Drive received minor variance approval in 2016 to construct a development at a height of 10.3 meters, which I would point out is the exact same height we are proposing today. In addition, due to the grading on the subject property of 30 Caswell Drive, 28 Caswell Drive will be perceived as higher than 30 Caswell Drive. And lastly, to sum up the concerns with regard to any traffic impacts, I do not have any expertise as the same as a traffic engineer, but I will defer to the Transportation Services report that indicates no concern with this specific variance.
That's it?
And I believe that addresses all of the issues that were raised.
Yeah. There is one more that I didn't hear explanation. Variance number 9, asking for 27 square meters as compared to the required, as compared to the normal 4 square meters. Why is it so high?
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. So if you bring up the elevations, you can see that, well, it is considered a balcony due to the technical nature of the first floor definition. I'll point out that it will be perceived as and have the exact same impact as a deck, which would be permitted as of right at this exact size.
Okay. Okay, let's see what the members have to say. Any questions, please? Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay, now I see you. Any question? No? Okay. If no questions, do I have a motion? Mr. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with the modification that applicant provided. I think this application is a minor in nature. So the approval will be with the following changes and modification. Variance number 1, the proposed height of the building is now 10.30. Variance number 2, the proposed height of the both side exterior main wall facing a sideline is now 8 meters. And variance number 9.
No, it's 12.
Sorry, variance number 12. The proposed building height is now 11.22 meter and also subjected to urban forestry and subjected to the transportation memo dated November 17th, 2022, which they have three conditions. That is my motion.
Thank you. Second, Ms. Manning. Ms. Manning seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Hunt is opposing. Okay. Sir, your application is approved, subject to those conditions. Do you want me to go over them or you got them?
I have the conditions. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, number 13. No. 13 is there. Number 14. Number 14, which is 26 DIVADALE, application number 14. And then this application is for an addition, has 6 variances. Staff is recommending A, to refuse variance number 1 and 3, and B, modify number 3 from 0.4 to 0.8, and transportation report defers its comment only, and forestry condition number 1. So here we have Mr. Edward Bigarge. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah. Please state your name. Your name and address, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, member of the committee. My name is Edward Begay. I'm the architect. And I agree with, even though they never discuss with me, sometimes they discuss with us before go to the committee, with their recommendations for the parking. I know it's hard to get 2-car parking on this side.
So, excuse me, before you can explain the applications, tell us what's your changes. The staff is recommending to refuse certain variances, I meant. So tell us what you want to make, what changes you want to make before you explain them.
So I'm okay with their refusal for the parking and for the front landscape.
So
coverage.
They're asking to refuse number 1 and number 3. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay. I know I'm not gonna get that. So,
okay, and then you modify number 3?
I don't think I can do that. So we have an existing 0.4 garage on the side of the building. The neighbor on the east side built with 0.4 extended 17, 18 meters. And we have 2 buildings away that they built. They got a committee of adjustment with 0.39 some time before. So what we did, we did revise the drawings on November 20th, and we are not extending the garage in the front. So the garage is staying, the wall is staying there, not extending the front, but we're doing extension 2 floor on the back, on the rear of the house. So we're building a 2nd story over the garage, and we're extending on the rear 2-story. I want to add, maybe it slipped when I did the application for a chapter for the old zoning bylaw, for the chapter 623 zoning bylaw 1916 for the height of the building. I think I have to comply with both old and new zoning bylaw for the height of the building. For it's allowed 8.5, and we're asking for 8.8 meters. It's there. It's not there on the notice, but I want, if you can add that, because I don't want to come again on the committee of adjustment only for that. If it's approved. So
Okay, when you finish, we'll talk to you. Just
Here,
please go.
yeah,
Keep
here
going.
we have, if you can see, yeah, if you can see here, so where load coverage is, it's less than it's allowed. The length of the building is less than it's allowed. The height of the main walls, it's as per zoning by law. FSI coverage, it's only from 60 to 62, so they are very minor. I think here it's only the side setbacks that it says existing building, so it's a.
Okay, what is the time? Are you finished, sir?
Yeah.
Okay.
And last thing, as I want to add is, we have to refer to the drawings submitted on November 20th, because it's changes and it's load coverage is less than, it's a 32.9 now.
All right. Okay, now, just to make sure, when we make a decision, we have to know what we're doing. You agreed with the staff to refuse variance number 1 and number 3, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Next, they asked.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Chair. On my staff report, they're asking to refuse variance number 1 and number 6 and amend number 3. Is it, have we got a difference there, or?
Well, let's take a look. Staff report. Staff report. There's number.
Yeah, it's 6 and 1.
Number 6, yeah, there is number 6. You're right. Yes, number 6. So that's number 6. So you're okay with variance number 1 and number 6 to be removed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now they also asked to modify number 3, and you said you agree or you disagree with that.
I disagree. I cannot do that.
Okay. So you don't want to change that.
Otherwise, we can't have a house.
That's okay. That's okay. You don't want to change that. Let's see what questions from the members is. Okay. Members, any question for this gentleman? The only change he make, he agrees with the staff to variance number 1 and 6 to be removed. I said number 3 before, I was mistaken. It's number 1 and 6 to be removed. That's all he makes. So please go ahead and make your question. Ms. Satarudi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. The applicant mentioned that we should we should refer to the site plan that he submitted on November 20th, which was also shown on the screen earlier. But he also mentioned that the new drawing that he submitted have the 32.9% lot coverage. I would like to ask him to clarify that, and then if the new drawings have more coverage, because the 32% is just the approval. So is it possible that we refer to the things that is not have been reviewed? I just would like to get some clarification for that comment.
So it's only so we're not doing an addition on the front of the garage, that it's 4 feet by 10 feet, and that's we're taking off from the load coverage. So it's less load coverage on the revised drawings on the November 20th than the first one we did the application. That's the only change, and we're doing that because we have a problem with 50% of the main walls. So I have to keep that front of the garage as a main wall, so we can qualify for a renovation instead of the new home.
So my question is that have you changed the density, the lot coverage on the new drawing, side drawing that you showed dated November 20th compared to the original drawing that you submitted to the city and they prepared the report based on those submissions? Is the new site plan have a different lot coverage? Because you mentioned it's 32.9%, the new site plan represent that lot coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, means the original drawing that you submit has a different lot coverage than the drawing that you submit on November 20th. Is that correct?
I'm checking if I can find the original drawings that I sent.
Mr.
But
Chair.
I know for sure that we are 40 square feet less than the previous one. So the second one, the revised one.
Hold a second, please. Let's see clarification from staff. Go ahead.
Sorry, can I ask for clarification, which variance are we talking about? Is this variance 1?
No, it's not variance 1. The applicant mentioned that on the new site plan that I submit, I modified the lot coverage to the 32.9. Please refer it to that. And I'm just asking if this one, if the lot coverage has been changed on the new drawing that he wants us to refer to.
Yeah, your question.
Yes.
Your question was very clear. If the new drawing reflects the change. You're very, it's a good
Yes,
question.
sir. It reflects the change.
It reflects the change. Okay, so he said the new drawings does reflect the change. Does that answer your question?
No, my question is that does it create a new variance regarding the lot coverage?
Lot coverage 35%, and we're asking for 32.9.
Okay, thank you. Now I understand.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, it's still not clear what variance is lot coverage.
We didn't have a variance for lot coverage. Sorry, guys.
I think we need this clarified. There's a continual discussion about lot coverage, but I don't see a variance for lot coverage.
So my question was, after the applicant explained and mentioned that I changed the lot coverage to 32.9, I just want to get clarification that if this change trigger a new variance. That was the question, and I got my answer.
Okay, thank you. So
there is no.
Just ask for clarification from the applicant because when he was explaining, he talked about it. So I just want to get clarification on that.
Okay, thank you.
Right. You're talking to an architect here, so she want to know. So, anyways, any other question? Can I have a motion then, please? I don't see a hand. Anyone for a motion? Okay, Ms. Atarodi.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, I would like to put forward a motion with the following changes. I would like to put forward a motion to approve the application with the following changes. Variance number 1 have been eliminated. Variance number 3 have been modified.
No, it's 6. It was originally 3. I mentioned 6, but they corrected it. It's number 6, and the staff report said 6, not 3.
Yes, I know. I'm just going from 1 to 6. Now I'm modifying number 3. So variation number 3, the proposed side yard setback is now 0.8 meter. Variance number 6 have been eliminated and also subjected to transportation memo and also the urban forestry memo.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Second, Mr. Kidd, seconding. All in favor? Opposed? Mr. Kidd is opposing. Okay, so, Mr.
Can I say something, sir?
I met Mr. Hunt, yeah. We're in the middle of the motion, sir. The motion is approved, and the subject to the change, number 1 and number 6 is removed, and conditions of transportation and condition number 2, and you had another change, Ms. Tarodi? You had another.
So I just followed staff recommendation, what I mentioned.
Yeah, 1 and 6 removed. What else do you have
Okay, let me go back.
Yeah,
1
there's
and 6.
there's a modifying there. Which one is that?
Its variance number 3 have been modified regarding the west side yard setback have been modified from 0.4 meter to 0.8 meter.
Very good. Yeah. So this is what the staff recommended, and he didn't agree with it. Okay. Can I have a second, please? Oh no, we approved it already. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mr. Hunt is opposing. Sir, your application is approved subject to the change of the based on the staff report, which is 1 and 6 removed and changed to number 3 from 0.04 to 0.8.
Can I ask something, sir?
No, we can't. Once we make a decision, we cannot add.
No, can I ask?
Or open it. We can't open it.
I said, can I ask?
We
can I ask? I said.
We can explain you what the decision was made, but we will not reopen it. The decision is made to approve the application, subject to refusing number 1 and number 6, and subject to modifying number 3 from 0.04 to 0.8, transportation and forestry. That is clear decision, and we cannot open it or discuss it again. It's we're not allowed to.
I understand. Can I say something before?
I'm sorry.
So
we can. I'm sorry. No, we cannot say anything after that unless you want explanation of what the decision is made. The decision is exactly what.
Yeah, can I have an explanation why, sir? Can I have an explanation why it's a transportation still?
We cannot. I'm sorry. We cannot. Can you cut him off? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off because we cannot discuss the application after the decision is made. If you want to appeal it, you can appeal it, but that's what it is. Okay. We still have a good number, and I must go to staff. We're going to take 5-minute break. Okay, 5-minute recess. 46 cases, I have to bring the legal amount and to see what these things happen. Yeah, but we said subject to constitution, so not I know, I saw that. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's a different law and it's a yeah, they can recommend, but we don't, yeah, because normally, all of them, they differ only the comments. And then we put subject to constitution. Yeah, we can go back. We will say we agree to defer. And if we agree to defer, if we don't agree to defer, we will do it. Transportation for all the departments that don't have he doesn't ask for defer, ask for deferring their comment. They can defer their comment. And besides that, if you put in any request for their deferral, you will still subject to I'll bring it up at the beginning. Yes. There was no forest clear, they got upset. We're upset about the We're going to have a long day today. Sorry? 46 items, yeah. I think it's insane. Can start.
Committee members, are you there?
Thank you. Yeah, they'll be back. You have Now I'm on. Okay, so we have just two. Let's wait for another member. Okay, so we have three. We can go on. Okay, we resume our session, and then we have application number 15, which is 69 SEARLE Avenue, application number 15. This is a one-story addition, 4 minor variances, 9 letters of support, and we have here Nina Fant. Are you there?
Hear me?
Yes. Could you please state your name and address?
Okay, good afternoon, committee. My name is Nina Fant of 16 Markdale Avenue, Toronto. I am the architect and agent for the proposal at 69 SEARLE Avenue.
Okay.
The project entails a one-story addition on the east side and a new covered porch on the north side of the existing bungalow.
Okay. Before you go, just let me ask the members. The members, this is a 4 minor variances and 9 letters of support. Do we need a presentation? No. Okay. So, we don't need a presentation here. Do you want to add something, or we just go ahead and make a decision?
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you.
So I didn't hear. You're okay with not making a presentation, or you want to make it?
No, go ahead. I'm okay with not making a presentation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can I? Any question, Mr. Hunt? Could you please? You have a motion? Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Having read the application and noting that there's no department comments or concerns and that there is strong neighborhood support, I would move a motion to approve this without condition.
No conditions. Thank you. Second. Ms. Manning seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, your application is approved unanimously and there is no conditions.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Application number 16, which is 589 Saint-Germain Avenue, application number 16. This we have a new dwelling, 6 variances. Staff report asking to revise variance number 1 per applicant. The applicant asked for it. Condition of forestry number 3, and we have 1 letter of objection. Okay, this is Nafise Zandiabani. Are you there?
Hello?
Zandiabadi. Okay, could you please state your name and address?
Yes, this is Nafisa Zangiabadi. I'm the applicant representing the owner. My address is 30 Apple Orchard Path, Thornhill, L3T3BX.
Okay, could you please make your presentation and tell us the merit of your application? And also, before you go there, could you tell us what your changes are making?
Yes, as per staff recommendations, we're changing variance number 1 to 62%.
Variance number 1 to 50%. That's the only change, right?
62%.
Huh?
62.
52. Okay. All right. So that's the only change. Okay. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
So the application is to construct a new 2-story dwelling. As per staff recommendation, I repeat again, we're changing variance number 1 from 52% to 62%, and which leaves us with only the variances for coverage and height. Coverage is 36%, which is in keeping with the previous decisions in the neighborhood. And then variance number 3, 5, and 6 are related to the height. 5 and 6 are under the old bylaw. And the reason for the height being 10.6 meters is that it's been taken to the peak of the roof due to the flat roof area being a little bit more than 25%. And variance number 6 due to the change in the grade. And we do have variance number 3 for the main wall height, and that's because of the design and the decorative element in the front of the house, whereas the entire eaves and side wall heights are 7.95 meter, which is under 8 meters, and it's very common in the neighborhood. So basically, we're just asking for coverage and height variance and a little bit modification in the front yard area. There's no length, depth variance, no side yard setback, no front yard and rear yard setback. Staff is in support of the application, subject to the change for front yard landscaping that we just made. And our immediate neighbor had some concern about the height. They actually needed some clarification on how the height is calculated. We had a meeting with them last week, and they're okay with the variance. That's why they didn't show up. And so our neighbors are in support too. And I believe this application is minor in nature, and I ask for approval of this application.
Okay. We don't have anybody here beside the applicant. Any questions? We have staff wants to ask question.
Can I just clarify, sorry, can I just clarify the change that you made? Can you please repeat it?
It's 62%.
Variance number 1, from 52% is going to be 62%.
62. Yeah. The variance asked for 52 and she changed it to 62. Okay. Any questions? If you don't have any question, could you please make a motion? Yeah, Mr. Kidd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the application as amended, the variances are minor in nature, and I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application. Variance number 1 modified to read that the front yard soft landscaping area is to be changed from 52% to 62%. I'd like to put the planning staff condition that the property be developed in accordance with the revised site plan as shown as attachment 1 to the planning staff report, and also subject to forestry condition.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Hunt seconding. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, your application is unanimous, subject to the change you made to variance number 1 and condition forestry.
Thank you.
I think that's what it was. Was there another condition? Was there another condition besides?
There was a planning staff condition as well, tying it to plans.
Okay, to tie to plans because I didn't have that one here. Okay, thank you. This was number 16. So, Ms. Nafizeh, did you get that changes? Yeah.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number 17, which is 65 BESSBOROUGH Drive, application number 17. And here we have Jonathan Benzkowski. Are you there?
Afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Good afternoon. This we have an addition and four variances. That's all we have here. Under normal condition, we go ahead, but here we have some speakers who want to speak to the application, some neighbors. So could you please make a short presentation?
Yeah, could we bring up the presentation material I submitted? So what we're requesting today is basically for a 2-story rear addition, as well as a filling in of a 2-story void that is behind the existing garage. Specifically to address the variances, I have provided 2 quick graphics just to illustrate and clarify a couple of things. The first one, maybe I'll just give it a sec.
Staff is currently pulling up your presentation. If you wanted to, there.
Thank you. The first graphic really is just indicating where the existing eaves are in terms of the proposed eaves. If we could just zoom in on the yellow portion on the top, because of the filling in of the area behind the garage, there is a new roof proposed. So what I've done here is I've taken the proposed front addition and I've taken some yellow, that I've colored in the yellow portion, which is essentially just the existing eave location to the side yard to the south, essentially just being moved up. What I've done here is really to illustrate what portion of the dwelling we're requesting that height increase of. It is just that triangular portion only at the front of the dwelling. The rest of the dwelling is in compliance with the zoning bylaw. It's a fairly straightforward application, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that might arise from this.
Thank you. So we'll come back to you. We have one speaker here, Joanne Capozzi. Are you there?
Yes.
You're speaking on behalf of Lydia Mary Capozzi, right?
Yes, the homeowner. I am her daughter, so my address is care of 67 BESSBOROUGH Drive. I haven't had an opportunity to read the application, and last night, just for the first time, I was able to speak with the homeowner applicant, Mr. Visano. So I don't think I actually have any objections with respect to the proposed variances requested today. I did, though, have a question, and I don't know if this is an appropriate platform. I just had a question about what the general intent or purpose is of the rule regarding the maximum eaves projection, just so I know what that means. And I understand the requested variances for, you know, a small, a minor variance, I think, is how the committee might view it. But I just don't know why that rule exists, and I don't know whether my question could be answered here or whether I need to pose it somewhere else.
No, it's okay. Although we don't give a seminar here, but the applicant will answer of it. We are very clear there. Appreciate it. Any question for this speaker? No? Okay. Mr. Benzowski, could you please help her understand the extension there?
Yeah, the general intent and purpose of the eve encroachment limitation is really twofold. The first is to ensure that it doesn't encroach onto an adjacent property line. The second one is to ensure proper drainage, that it's available, so essentially eaves aren't, and I'm actually sorry, I'm doing hand motions like you guys can see me touching two eaves here. So it's really to ensure that the eaves aren't touching, also to create a kind of a streetscape of a continuous facade.
Yeah, and the difference there was so small anyways.
And it really is maintaining the existing, sir. It's just being pushed up.
Yeah, from 0.3 to 0.25 is close anyways. Okay. Thank you. Any question for the speaker here? The agent? No? And can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I feel the requested variances are of minor nature, and I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application without condition.
No, there's no conditions. Thank you. Second, Ms. Tarodi, all in favor? All in favor? Okay. Opposed? Ms. Manning, I didn't see your hand. Opposing or for?
I'm abstaining. The internet cut out and I didn't. So I'm just abstaining.
You're abstaining. Okay. So your application is approved. Okay. So, sir, your application is approved and there is no conditions there.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 18, application number 18, which is 435 Glengrove Avenue, application number 18. And this is a new two-story dwelling, 9 variances, and forestry condition number 1. And here we have Sarah Ifrah, are you there? Miss Sarah Ifrah.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so please, for the system here, we need you to state your name and address.
Yep, Sarah Ifrah, 75 Dufflaw Road, Suite 201A, like Apple, Toronto, M6A 2W4.
Okay, so please give us a short presentation here. You have 5 minutes, and tell us these 9 variances if they're justified.
Okay, so in terms of the 9 variances, the first variance is a landscape variance on the west side. It doesn't have any effect on neighbors or anything like that. It's really due to the driveway being on that side, which is actually one of the bylaw requirements is to have the driveway on that side of the street, despite the fact that many times we do it on the other side. So that's where that variance comes from, and it's only 4% under the allowable, and again doesn't have impact either on neighbors or I don't believe on the street as well. I'm going to skip down for a second to variance 4, 5, 6, and 7. These are also, in my mind, very minor. They refer, number 4 refers to the canopy at the west side, and if you look there, oh no, stay there. Go down to the, okay. If you look at the right of the drawing, that's the canopy we're talking about. Again, it's on the west side of the house. It's free floating. It's not chunky or enclosed or anything like that. So that's what that variance refers to. The variance number 5 and number 6 is actually what the project just before me had. This variance springs because we have a side yard variance. Our eaves are no larger than they normally are, 1 foot overhangs. But because we have a side yard variance, we also need to ask for an eave variance. But they are not going into the neighbor's properties. You can see on this elevation as well exactly where the eaves are. We're quite a distance from our neighbors. And then number 7, again, refers to the canopy as well that I just spoke to now. So if we then go back to the variances that I believe are ones that do need a little bit more explanation, variance number 2, this variance is on the west side of the house. So again, even when you're looking at this drawing here, if you look to the right, the rear yard, the required side yard is 3 meters because it's a corner property. This would make this property, it would render it almost unbuildable. So I'm requesting a variance of 1.47 on that side, or 4'10", as opposed to the 3 meters that it's asking for. Again, this is not the neighbor's side, this is a side towards the street. So I believe that the impact is minimal. Number 3, variance number 3, and this you can slide over to the site plan now. This length variance refers to the ground floor length, which is a 17-meter length with a 1-story breakfast extension. It is not the whole width of the house. It is not the whole height of the house. 1.9 meters of this 18.9 meter variance is a 1-story breakfast extension to the east side of the property. I'm going to skip down now to variance number 8, and we can stay right here. This variance refers to the terrace. Technically, we're allowed a 2.5 meter terrace. This is an 8 foot 3 inches or so, which is a very small terrace. And in general, I do go for this very same variance of 3.66 meters, which is 12 feet, which is, typical in terms of a size of a terrace to put a table on and enjoy your backyard. Again, it's something that's been approved a number of times. And then variance number 9 is referring to the east side yard setback. Our requirement is 1.8. We're asking for 1.2 meters. Now, if you flip to the supporting material that I've given you, the one that's labeled November 16th. No, it's a different. In any case, until we pull that up, that's a chart basically. That chart is not precedent in terms of searching the neighborhood and getting Committee of Adjustment approvals. That chart are homes that I have designed, I have brought through Committee of Adjustment, this North York Committee of Adjustment, both on the east and west sides of Bathurst. And on there, you can see that the pattern of development in this neighborhood, meaning we're looking to the official plan and the bylaw and whether or not this is appropriate and whether or not these are minor, you can see in that chart. And you can scroll down to the east side, just so we ignore the west side of Bathurst altogether. Go to the next page, which is the east side of Bathurst. Exactly. You can see the side yards of 1.2 meters are very consistent. You can see that the lengths are, many of them are over 19 meters. Here we do not have a coverage variance or a height variance or stories variance. So this was really just to show you that the pattern of development is this way, and the variances that we're requesting here are minor in nature. I would note we also have no objection from planning or neighbors, and we have spoken with our neighbors, and they're not here today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the speaker? If no questions, can I have a motion, please? Ms. Manning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to grant these variances. I think the four-part.
I'm sorry, you're cutting off. We don't hear you. Could you repeat what you said? We don't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Now it's okay.
I'd like, through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve through you, approve these variances, this application. You're not hearing me.
Well, we're here.
I'm hearing you.
We hear part of it. Keep doing it. Keep going.
Okay. There's no objection from planning or from the neighbors. I think these variances are minor. And there are no conditions either.
I think there's forestry.
Sorry, subject to the conditions of forestry.
Thank you. Second, Mr. Kate first, second. All in favor? Okay, unanimous. Thank you. Okay, Ms. Itra, your application is unanimous, subject to forestry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Application number 19, which is 534 Briar Hill. Application number 19, and this is a new two-story and cabana, 5 variances, forestry condition number 3, and 3 letters of support. I wonder if we need members. Do we need a presentation here? No? Okay. Okay, so here we have the agent here. We got Robert Green. Are you there?
Hello, how are you?
Okay, hi, how are you? Could you please state your name and address for us?
My name is Robert Green with Lyman's Green Liang Architects at 156 Avenue Road in Toronto.
Thank you. So we don't need the presentation here. It looks like it's straightforward. Did you want to make any comment, or you want to go ahead and make a decision?
No, just repeating that we have spoken to many of the neighbors. We have 3 letters of support. That they're the critical ones, the 2 adjacent neighbors at 532 and 536 Briar Hill, and to the north, the immediate neighbor to the north at the rear of the property at 127 Hillhurst. You can proceed with your review.
Thank you. You said 2 letters of support. There are 3. One.
3, yeah, no, 2 from the 2 adjacent neighbors and 1 from the rear at 127 Hillhurst.
One letter came late. Okay. So,
yes.
Members, any question or motion? Can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Tarodi?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair, and this is a very straightforward application, and the variance proposed is minor. Therefore, I would like to put forward a motion to approve this application with only one condition of With condition of forestry.
Forestry, thank you. Second? Ms. Manning seconding, all in favor? Okay, unanimous. Your application is unanimously approved, subject to forestry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Application number 20, which is 1580 Avenue Road. This is a reduction of a driveway, actually a reduction in the drive aisles, 2 variances, and transportation report asks for us to defer its comments. Just deferring its comments, okay. The agent here, it said not here. Do we have?
Mr. Chair, I believe the agent is a Guy Donofrio. I've unmuted Guy.
Is he on? What's the name?
Guy.
Sorry?
His name is Guy.
Guy, because I don't have anything here. Okay. Okay, Mr. Guy, are you there?
I'm here, and the name is Guy Donofrio, Stafford Developments, 55 St. Clair Avenue West in Toronto. I'm also joined, Mr. Chairman, by Lindsay Dale Harris from Bellsfields, who is my co-applicant and agent here.
Okay, so who wants to speak, you or the other person? Because we have to record.
I'm going to speak first, and Ms. Dale Harris could respond to any questions the members of the committee have specifically.
If we have a question, okay. Okay, you got 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes. Okay. We have 40.
I will be very brief, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
This 1580 Avenue Road is a brand new condo project that was processed by community planning, approved. It's been constructed. It got its building permits. The zoning examiner and building did not find any variances. What happened was when we went to register the condominium, transportation found an anomaly in the bylaw, which I discussed with Director Mr. Sitt of Community Planning, and we decided it was best as a caretaking item to come to committee to do a variance. So I don't know why transportation is deferring its comments at this point, because the deputy treasurer of the committee was involved in some of these discussions. Again, it's an anomaly. A 5.5 drive aisle is a very small portion in this building that is 5.5 is allowed under the bylaw when the parking spaces adjacent to it are wider than what is required for a parking space on a 6-meter drive aisle. This is most definitely a caretaking item. And that's what I have to offer today. And Ms. Dale Harris could add comments if she likes.
If we like or if she likes? If she likes, go ahead.
Both, if you prefer. It's a very straightforward caretaking variance.
Okay, we have here the application, and you spoke. Did you want somebody else to speak to? We still have time for your 5 minutes. Do you want to add something?
Yes. If Ms. Dale Harris wants to add anything to my comments, please allow her to speak.
Ms. Harrison, could you please state your name and address? Is it Harris or Harrison?
Harris, Dale Harris.
This is Lindsay Dale Harris.
Okay.
I'm a partner of the firm Bowsfield, and my address of the firm is 3 Church Street, Toronto.
Thank you. Tell us what you want to add, please.
All I wanted to add is that I fully support what Mr. Donofrio has said. I wrote a letter in support of the requested variances, and I also specifically addressed the 4 tests under the Planning Act. And I concluded that this very technical variance meets all the tests under the Planning Act.
Very good. That's it. Okay, so let's see what if the members have any question. Any question for one or the other speaker? They're both applicants. Mr. Kitt, yeah.
Just so I'm clear, this is an existing situation, existing condition. Is that correct?
Yes, very much so, sir. And as I stated, it was approved by the building department upon issuance of the building permits. The building is fully constructed and occupied, and the condominium has been registered.
Okay. Did you
Thank you.
Did you discuss with transportation what's the concern? They're asking to defer their comments. They're not asking to defer, just the comments. Do you know what was the discussion?
No, sir, because those discussions were held by community planning and other staff members at the city. We were just advised to file the application. It was an administrative matter, a cleanup matter. Transportation should have no comments, especially when the building zoning and examiner cleared this for building permits. As Ms. Steele Harris has said, and I reiterate, it's merely a housekeeping matter. There should be no further comments of being awaited by anyone from transportation, and maybe your staff has something to add. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you. Any other question? No? So maybe can I have a motion then, please? Mr. Kidd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I feel the requested variances are minor, and I'd like to put forward a motion to accept the application without condition.
Okay. No conditions. Okay. And second, Ms. Atarodi had your hand. You're seconding? Yes? Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. Okay. Your application unanimously approved, and they said no conditions. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, committee.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a nice day. Application number 21, which is parking requirements. One variance. Transportation report recommends deferral. And TRCA, no objection, no impacts, no permit not required. This is the transportation. Here, Mr. Staff, they're asking to defer it. Okay, we have here one person, Adam Brown. Mr. Brown, are you there?
Committee. Adam Brown on behalf of the applicant. My address is 40 Holly Street, Suite 404. And we did provide a presentation to you, but to be very simplistic about it, it's a single variance that if I was applying for a zoning bylaw amendment today, it would actually not be required. City Council has passed, after a 1.5-year process in December of 2021, the visitors parking rate, which we revised in response to the traffic comment, to be exactly what the standard that was approved by staff and council. It is two spaces plus 0.05 parking spaces per unit. This is a development that I worked on. I'll keep dating myself because I'm dealing with 20-year-old developments, 15-year-old developments. Back in 2010, it wasn't finalized or finished because they have apartments and affordable housing units, and there was a cost issue. It just didn't work. So we're trying to make it affordable, so to speak, get rid of a layer of parking that we do not need, and trying to comply with the current visitor parking standards. So it is about as technical as you get. If I would be applying for it today, I wouldn't need this variance at all. It's just because I have 10 and 11-year-old bylaws on the site. And that's pretty well it.
That's what it is. Okay. You said we made a presentation to you. You made it to the...
No, I'm sorry. I provided a presentation, but it was literally a tongue-in-cheek. Here's what it looks like before, after. It's exactly the same. No physical changes.
When I said to you, because all these members we're new here. So anyways, you have...
Fair enough.
Yeah, you have now. Do you know why the transportation is asking for deferral?
What I did is I called BA Consulting, Alan Lloyd, and I had him send over, once we found out about this, confirmation that we'll go with the exact standard. Maybe it's because our variance originally was for 0.05 spaces per unit, and we didn't add the +2. So now we added the +2 back. I actually personally tried to call Luigi, but Luigi is probably on every single file in the city, and he seems to be pretty busy. But we did send that report from BA Consulting. But to me, I comply now with what council approved and what staff approved in December 2021.
So doesn't make any sense to say subject to transportation, because
No, but it should say proposed minimum parking requirement for residential visitors is 2 spaces plus 0.05, and that would comply with the new
No,
standard.
we can't elaborate on that. We have a variance in front of us, and we decide on the variance or refuse.
Okay.
The variance is here is strictly there. The proposed minimum, and there is what the required. The question is there any sense continuing with the transportation as far as the condition? So.
No, and look, we'll undertake on the record that we'll provide the extra 2 spaces. If that's the standard, so we don't mind.
So in this case, let me ask the staff, is there any sense to make a subject to transportation? Because they asked for deferral. Either we defer it or we make condition. No, not the deferral, as far as conditions, make it subject condition.
If we add a condition,
Yeah.
it needs to be clear. If we clear the law, that's fine.
If we add condition, we should be clear. I don't understand that.
If committee chooses to add a condition, it needs to be cleared at the building permit stage. I can't recommend to you whether you should defer it.
No, we don't.
But if you add a condition, keep in mind that it needs to be cleared at the building permit stage by the department that implemented it or recommended it.
Yeah.
If you plan to add a condition, you have to think about how it's going to be cleared at the building permit stage.
Okay, let me ask the applicant. He wanted to say something.
I won't be able to clear it. If you add a condition subject to transportation approval, it doesn't make sense, because I have a standard for the visitor parking spaces of 0.05, which complies with the current standard. So if you make me go back to the buildings department and say, call transportation to say, does it comply, that it would put me through the process again.
Yeah.
So it's not like a typical condition like water, drainage, engineering. This is the most I would say that you could say to me is, a condition that we provide 0.05 plus 2 spaces, and that would 100% comply with the current council approved parking standard.
0.05 plus two spaces?
2 spaces, and that would 100% comply. And you can do that. You can always reduce my variance. In other words, make me provide more parking than I'm asking for.
Yeah. So if we add it, it's anyways. I'll leave it. I'll see what the members are saying, and at this point the transportation is just an addition there. Members, do you have any comments? Could you clear up that? Okay, now I see you. Okay, members, any question? There is one variance, and the transportation has to defer it. I don't think you want to defer the applications, do you?
No.
No. Okay. So do you have a question, Mr. Tarodi? Is that a question or motion?
No, it's the question. Is it possible that we have it on the screen, the councillor decision regarding the 0.05 plus 2 space for the visitor parking decision? Is this possible that we see it on the screen?
I did send that in. I sent it in as a waiver to replicate the bylaw.
Yeah. You can't put on the screen. There was no, we didn't have anything on it, do we? We didn't have anything.
I filed it.
No, this is what he suggested. but we don't have.
I can, if you let me share the screen, I can show it to you.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in the BA report.
It's okay.
If you scroll down. There it is. I'll tell you, it's on.
I can't read it. It's too far. What does it say? Do you see it, Mr. Brown? I can't read it. It's too far there. It's too.
Yeah, it's I put it on a separate piece of paper for you. I submitted it to the committee in a waiver.
Oh, you did submit it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I did submit it. If you look on this one, it's on the under minor variance application. If you go down, he actually typed it out to our consultant. Keep going down. Keep going. Right there. Adjusted to, that's the requirement. Yes. 2 plus 0.05 spaces per unit. That's based on the new 2022 standard. It was passed in 2021, came into force under bylaw 125, 2022. So through you, Mr. Chair, to the member, that's the standard that I was suggesting.
Okay.
2 plus 0.05.
So if we do that, if you do that 0.05 plus 2 spaces, then we don't have to worry about transportation.
Correct.
Okay, members, any? Okay, you can get rid of that. Okay, so if there's no more questions, can I have a motion then, please? Ms. Manning?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to grant this application, this one variance, but modify it. It's 0.05 parking spaces per dwelling plus 2.
2 spaces, okay.
No other conditions.
Thank you. There's no other space. Okay. No, the TRCA say no objection, no impact, not required. Okay, can I have a second? Mr. Hunt is seconding. All in favor? Okay. Mr. Brown, your application is approved. Subject.
Thank you very much. And if we don't see you again, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Same to you.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. This was number 21, right? So now we're in 2 o'clock. We're supposed to be normally having lunch. Okay, members, we're just on time as far as the first 21 applications. Now, how long do you want for? Can I have your suggestion as far as the break? How much time do you need? Half an hour? 30 minutes? 20 minutes? What? 20 or 30? You said this.
30, please.
Okay.
Yeah, 30 is good for me. Yeah.
30.
31 goes twice. Can I have motion? Bingo. Okay, 30 minutes. Okay, we'll break. Maybe you can put the screen back for 30 minutes. Thank you. Hold a second.